The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op.
Hello and welcome.
That's enough, man.
They liked it last week. Don't be a
Do it
fucking.
again.
Don't be
Do it
mean.
again.
Hello and welcome to the TrapNerd
That's what we
Sports
do now.
Podcast.
I miss 1 week, and that's what we do.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited about it, man. Especially, Yankees are 5-0, baby.
That's
Start the
lit.
season.
We're too good.
Got another game at 9:40 tonight. Cortez on the mound. Juan Soto's the greatest baseball player that ever played. And he's got the second greatest baseball player that ever played hitting right behind him.
We ain't doing shit. We're still
Yeah,
5-0.
he's not doing anything. Torres isn't doing anything. Half our team ain't doing anything, and we're still 5-0. Juan Soto getting all the game-winning hits.
We got Oswaldo and shit.
Got like a game-winning home run his first game-winning throw. Was that the same game?
No, he hit a home run the second game.
The
First
second
game was
game.
game-winning put out at the plate.
Yeah.
Second game he homered, and then the third game I think was game-winning single.
Yeah.
He's
Juan
that
Soto's
dude.
that guy.
Shout
But
out.
yeah, baseball's only 5 games in, so we're not going to talk about that too much right now. But this is the first time Yankees have been
5-0, baby.
Yeah, first time they were 3-0 to start a season since like 03.
3, yeah.
And it was like the same first time they were 4-0 since like 1950 or something. So
Yeah, we're lit.
definitely wanted to mention. And Garrett Cole's hurt, so we're just going to get better, you know what I mean? But let's move on to football, man.
More important things.
More important things. Then, yeah, the first week of the baseball season's it's got to be the most important opening day followed by the least important games in all of sports.
Yeah.
Because, baseball just does not matter.
Bro.
Opening day, huge.
Yeah, you're excited.
Matters. Everyone wants to get the opening day win. You got your aces out there. Everyone's excited about the beginning of the season. Immediately means nothing after that
No.
for like a month at least.
Not at all. And
But even when football's not being played, everything that happens matters. That's just the way the stakes have gone. That's why the NFL is the best product in American sports. And so we're just going to move on to some football. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a nice little draft. We randomize. Tank's going to have the number 1 pick. Oh, thank you, by the way. Thanks for joining us again. And
of
Harry's
course,
here.
anytime
Joe's
you need
not.
me.
I'll never pod with Joe again.
I'm
Doesn't look like it.
I'm the backbone of the pod. It's all right.
Hey, you're that dude.
So yeah, Tank will have the first pick. I'll have the second pick. Harry will have the
Yeah.
third pick, and we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do a nice little mock draft, and we're gonna see where things play out. Tank over there on the sticks is gonna control it, and he's gonna start out with the Bears picking number 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, this one it's a layup, bro. And I don't say the L word often, but this is an absolute lock right here. The stars are aligned. It's set in stone right now. Caleb Williams, first overall to the Chicago Bears.
Are you gonna bet $8,000 so you could win 100?
No shot.
It's a free 100, though.
I guess, but
If I had a couple, if I was like Drake, I'd put like $3 million on it.
fuck it.
Just to, I don't know what the math equates to that, but you'd still win a nice chunk of change for something that's guaranteed
free,
to
yeah.
happen.
I'm only missing $7,999, or I'd do it.
All right, so Tank goes Caleb Williams, easiest
Easy
pick of
money.
the draft here. And the rest of the world's making this pick more complicated than it needs to be, but I think this should just be as easy of a pick that can be made. Caleb off the board. There's no competition for Drake May there. Prototype quarterback. Basically looks like Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, throws the ball.
Why does he look like that?
He's just built like them, man. Just tall guy, nice and stocky. Throws
Fucking cannon.
Throws a fucking piss missile every time and just makes plays.
Only follows white quarterbacks on IG.
I mean, you
I don't know if
gotta
y'all peep.
you gotta follow your stars. You know what I mean?
Twitter had fun with that.
He's not gonna be Lamar Jackson. So why even try to get
It's a good point.
inspiration from a guy that's doing things you can't do? You
That's a
know?
good point. So we're going Drake.
So we're gonna go Drake May. I did not know he was slightly racist, but
I had no idea either.
but the guy can ball, and I think he's way better than the next 2 best quarterback prospects. So we're going to Harry now.
So for New England, I think they'll go out of whoever's left there, which I think will be Jaden Daniels. That's who I think they'll take 3. Obviously, if Drake May falls, they'll be happy. I could see him trading back as well. Marvin Harrison. I mean, they got a lot of options, but I think they're going to take a quarterback, so Jaden Daniels.
So we were talking about it last week, but we weren't here. But I already know the answer, but I want it for the pod. How ridiculous do you think that is that J.J. McCarthy is moving up?
Yeah, I'm not
some people's boards over.
I'm not a big fan of J.J. McCarthy. Like, obviously, he played in Michigan, so he didn't have, like, a fair chance to put up the big numbers and blah, blah, blah. And he still, he ended up winning a national championship. I don't know. I'm all set on him, though. I think these other guys are a tier above. So, definitely, if anybody takes him over these three, then I think they made a huge mistake.
Do you think he's a good, like, just taking the other three away? Say, like, Jaden Daniels wasn't there. Do you think, okay, Jaden Daniels off the board, you have to go Marv because it's such a big drop-off to J.J. McCarthy? Or would you be like, okay, J.J. McCarthy's third best quarterback in the draft? New England.
Yeah, I mean, if you're...
Like, do you like him as a prospect and just hate him when compared to Jaden Daniels, or you just don't like him at all?
I don't like him in the top, like, 10. Like, when I could take Marvin Harrison and Neighbors and guys like that, I can't see myself taking McCarthy no matter how badly I needed a quarterback. But, yeah, so I don't like him as a prospect that high.
I disagree slightly with that, but I do agree with Jaden Daniels. Like, we talked about it. You've heard me say, like, I have my concerns with Jaden Daniels, but in the NFL, the coaching has come such a long way, and when you see a guy with the tools that Daniels has, I don't think you can turn that down. You have to take the risk with him and hope you can coach the bad parts out of him. But the only huge concern for me is he never was an elite quarterback prospect until he turned 23 and went to a great team and was allowed to let it sling the way he did with having the best offensive line in football, best wide receiver room in football outside of Ohio State probably. Maybe even better because they had two top guys. But, yeah, I think Jaden Daniels, I think you make the right pick there. So we're going to move on. And,
I just see we see a lot of guys, a lot of teams panic and reach on quarterbacks, guys like Josh Rosen, and you just set yourself back. You have another 2 or 3 bad years, and you still got to find a quarterback. I just think why not build a good team, take the prospect like Marvin Harrison, and then find a quarterback that's what I think is better. I mean, if J.J. McCarthy ends up being a great quarterback, then I'm wrong, and they did well, but I just think a lot of teams reach on these quarterbacks and panic.
My only slight disagreement is I do think he is a top 10 prospect with positional value, obviously. Yeah. He's not a top 10 player in the draft, but with the positional value. I think he will be worth a top 10 pick. Like, I don't think anyone who picks him will regret it because I do like him more than
I guess top 10's fine. I'm more just thinking if these teams trade up and pick him top 3 to like top 5.
Yeah.
You give up a bunch and pass Marvin Harrison and those guys for this quarterback. I don't know. That's more so I guess what I was saying. Top 10's fine.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, you're going to have to trade above because obviously the Vikings have to worry about the Giants, and then if it gets past the Giants, then they don't really have to worry about anyone. So they could be trading above the Giants when the Giants have no intention on drafting McCarthy, and then they just give up a ton for nothing.
Right.
And then they have to worry about like the Broncos and the Raiders trading over him.
And that's what
I don't think he's a good enough prospect to worry about those guys stealing him from you, especially in a place like Minnesota where it's like it's going to suck to be bad for one more year, but with how good Kevin O'Connell is as a coach, especially for quarterbacks, I think I would just stay there. If he falls to you, draft him. If not, draft a blue chip player next year. Go for
as a Packer fan, I'd be thrilled if Minnesota traded assets to get McCarthy. So that's just me.
Cool. Well, we'll move on, and Tank's got the second easiest pick to go along with the first easiest pick of the draft.
Well, maybe it's not so easy as you think from what we've been hearing. But I just don't see it going any other way here. A lot of people are saying that they're putting Neighbors above Harrison strictly for the fact that we've seen a lot more Neighbors recently than we've seen Marv. I think that's more so why we're hearing that. But just go watch the tape, bro. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. here for the Cardinals.
No doubt.
I really don't know where else the Cardinals would pick here other than Marvin Harrison Jr. or Neighbors, but I think the easy answer here is Marv.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Neighbors has – I think the reason Neighbors is kind of ahead on some people's boards is I think his ceiling might be a little bit higher than Marv's, but Marv is so much safer. I feel like his floor is an all-pro a couple of years. But Neighbors does have that ceiling with how explosive he is that if Neighbors ends up being Tyreek Hill and Marv ends up being Mike Evans, it's like, sure – he's a little bit better, but you're still. I think the floor
still
for Marv,
all pro.
Yeah, you're still getting where I think Neighbors does have a path to not be elite.
Yeah.
But yeah, good pick there. So what would you guys do if you're the Cardinals, right? If someone offers, say Minnesota offers, you get the 11, 26, whatever you have to tell on to that. That's what it is, right? Or 23?
Yeah,
23.
Yeah, 23. I'm of the opinion you just take Marv. Like, you got a chance at getting a generational talent, just do it. I mean, the whole point of getting these assets is to get a guy like this. Why overthink it? Get slightly more assets and then miss out on a guy like Marv. Would you rather get, say, a pick swap +2 first, or you just grab your guy?
I think
you're
both are
Arizona.
fine. I would rather take Harrison for the reasons you said, but if you can get 11, 23, like a first next year or whatever, they're just willing to overpay like that, maybe it's worth it.
It's hard to say no.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I just think in their position, Kyler's already like year 7, 8. He's
I mean, he's not. Yeah, he's getting older.
he's not a young guy. He's already dealt with injuries. We've seen how good he can be with a team around him, and now he doesn't have a team around him. I think you just take Marv, and then they have another pick in the first round, and you can.
Yeah, I mean they're in a good. I think they're in a good spot either
Yeah, 'cause they're
way.
27.
Yeah. So yeah, I think a bird in the hand's worth 2 in the bush. You take the bird in the hand, man.
Yeah, they got 27.
So I am on the clock. I'm with the Chargers. I have a feeling Harbaugh is gonna.
You taking any calls here? Taking any calls coming in?
See, the Chargers are yes. I like they're the opposite of the argument for the Cardinals because they have a lot to fill, a lot of needs to fill, and they don't have the 2 first-round picks already like the Cardinals do. I'm taking if I get that same offer from Minnesota, I'm taking it.
Oh,
they have so many holes, and they don't have the 2 first-round picks like I just said. They have no receivers. Their offensive line needs a couple more pieces. Their defense needs a lot. So I would take it because they're in the position the Cardinals were last year. But if I don't get the trade going in, I'm also going receiver, which I don't think they're going to do. I think Harbaugh is going to be too stuck in his ways and want to build his rough and tumble team that wants to run all the time, even though he has Justin Herbert and Malik Neighbors fits that. I mean, you got a guy like Josh Allen or Herbert that can throw the ball 100 yards. You give him a fucking speed demon like Malik Neighbors. But I'm going to act like I'm Jim Harbaugh right now, and I'm going to draft Joe Alt.
Officially
Yeah.
handing the card in, Joe Alt.
Joe Alt.
All right.
He's going to want a great offensive line. They got Slater. They drafted Zion Johnson. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
Might have been 2.
Yeah, and then you add Alt to that, and they try to build the best offensive line in football and run the ball all the time, and just have
Gus Edwards
and just have Josh Palmer.
Yeah,
I think they have their 2nd round pick too, so there will be receivers available. But
for sure.
I would take Neighbors, but I think Harbaugh goes Joe Alt, so we'll go with Joe Alt.
I like that. Then I think that makes the Giants pick easy. I think they'll stick with Daniel Jones and they'll take Neighbors.
Boom.
The receivers stink. You got a chance to get someone that good. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and you can't. In my opinion, you can't take J.J. McCarthy and throw him into a system where his best receiver is Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, if you still trust Daniel Jones at all, like put a better team around him, then and give him a chance to, have a stud to throw the football to.
Yeah.
And you don't want to waste your first year of a rookie contract while paying Daniel Jones $40 million.
Right.
I think you're kind of giving away a fourth of the advantage of having a rookie quarterback by just having to pay the quarterback room $50 million anyway because you have Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Could be like 2 other players right there.
Yeah, build your team. If Daniel Jones sucks, you're going to suck anyway, and you'll have a top pick next year. So I like that pick.
All right, Tennessee Titans. They obviously need a good. They need to fill some holes here. First and foremost, I'm sure they would love to protect Will Levis because their line absolutely stinks. They took Peter Skoronski last year, but that ain't enough. So we're gonna go with Alumawa Fashanu, offensive tackle, Penn State for Tennessee.
Yeah, I think if Joe Alt's there, they take him in a heartbeat. But Fashanu
sure.
is after Joe Alt, there's a lot of debate on who's the next best tackle.
There's a lot of them.
I know this board is you go look at it. Some other websites, the board's different, and Fuaga's above him on some boards, but yeah, they definitely got to go tackle. This year, I mean, a lot of these guys, you could get a starter all the way down to Patrick Paul, honestly. But yeah, that's the move they need to do. Why is there over under only 6.5 wins? I mean, they got to think Levis really stinks. You got Hopkins,
he's just not
Ridley, Pollard, Spears. Yeah. If they draft this guy and they sign Cushenberry, they're going to go from one of the worst offensive lines in football to one of the better if the tackle pans out. I just don't really see a weakness on that team if Levis can at least be decent.
I think it's more so just like first-year head coach. You know, I mean, they did the same.
Who'd they hire?
Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
From Cincy. I think it's more so the effect here, and also like the inconsistency from Will Levis, because there'll be games where he's looking like Brett Favre, and then there'll be games where he's looking like post-injury Carson Wentz. So it's like if he finds some consistency, they'll be okay. I think they'll be all right. I don't think they're going to be a bottom tier AFC team like they're talking them up like this season, but they'll be just one of those.
And they play in the
Yeah.
AFC, which sucks.
Yeah,
They're not
so.
going to have any easy games. All right, I'm up at number 8.
Don't do it again.
With the Falcons.
Atlanta, don't do it again.
What do you mean?
Just go defense, brother.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's giving them edge rush because they obviously have that need. But I don't love Dallas Turner or Jared Verse.
Licking the chops for Brock Bowers there. Bring him back to Georgia.
No, Kyle Pitts is finally gonna do what Kyle Pitts is supposed to do. Man, Rome Odunze I did not expect to be here, man.
Really?
Because that would be sick. I mean, you have Drake London, Rome Odunze, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. That would be amazing. I know they need cornerback and they need edge really bad, and I almost always put Quinyon Mitchell to them because
Really?
having Terrell and Mitchell would be fucking amazing. But it's an offensive league, baby. Rome Odunze. We saw him
They
do that.
do it again.
They had Roddy White. They did it with Julio Jones back in the day, and I know Julio was a harder prospect to turn down, but damn, man, that offense just fucking outscore everyone, man.
And if they do this and they're not good again, what the fuck is going on?
For real.
They'll be.
I guess if you're paying Cousins, or you want to load him up as much as you can, they get Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Rome Odunze, best route runner in the draft, to go with a guy like Drake London who wins more with physicality. Kyle Pitts. There's just mismatches all over the field. That's a lot of fun, man. I
would like that.
I don't know if they might go defense, but
Everyone's got every like mock that I've seen is like Dallas Turner or nothing.
Same, but that's just based on need. Dallas Turner is not close to the player Rome Odunze is. I wouldn't even think twice if that was the choice. The only person who would is Quinyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold. So I would never draft Dallas Turner over Rome Odunze. I don't care if I had 3 All-Pro receivers. I'm never drafting Dallas Turner over Rome Odunze. That's something. You want to sell tickets?
Go get Rome.
Go get Rome. So I love that.
All right, Harry, how are you going to ruin the Packers here?
Well, I expected him to take an edge rusher, and I was going to say the Bears would take Rome Odunze. But since he would be off the board, I think Dallas Turner would now be the pick to the Bears.
They would love that.
Yeah, so.
All right, this one's interesting. The Jets could go many different ways here. Many different ways. I originally had them maybe going like offensive tackle here, but we've seen they made some signings. Some guys that have some injury history, sure, but I don't know if they go offensive tackle here. So if they're loading up for this year, help Rodgers out, I think it's going to be tough for them to pass up Brock Bowers right here.
I like that a lot.
That's fair. That's my last mock. I had the same thing. I think the smart decision is the tackle because
Probably.
what is it? Moses Malone?
Moses and then Tyron Smith.
Yeah,
right?
they're not going to start all the games. 1,
No
2, they both can take a huge step back this year, being 33. 3, they're not your answer for the future, and I think they just see that shiny trophy at the end of the finish line.
This is the year, bro. Like if they fuck up this year, they're Douglas is done.
But the
head
good
coach,
teams build
what's
for
his
the
name?
future, man.
Wait, what was it?
Jets head coach
Robert Saleh.
Oh, yeah.
Saleh, yeah. He'd be done.
Good teams build for the future, and I think a tackle is the way to go. But it's that shiny object, dude.
Future's now.
Yeah, I like Bowers. I think if Odunze's there, they'll take him. I think they're going to give Rodgers something there. Not that a tackle's not giving Rodgers something, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. All right, so I'm on the clock at 11. They don't have to trade up in this, but I think this
falls
is
right to their lap.
Yeah, it falls in their lap, and I think this is very. If the Giants don't go quarterback, this is how it will fall. None of those other teams are taking quarterback. So I'm going to go J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings. And like I said, I like him a little more than Harry, and I think that's the perfect place for him to go. He doesn't have to have – their offensive line needs to get a little bit better, but you're throwing to Jefferson, you're throwing to Addison, you're throwing to Hawkinson.
And if you get them at 11
Aaron
and don't trade up,
Jones.
then I immediately love the pick for them a lot more than if they have to trade multiple assets to move up to 3 or 4.
So I think McCarthy in most scenarios, like if he was to go to Denver, if he was to go to Oakland, if he was to go to Dallas – or not Dallas, sorry, New York, I'd want him to sit a year, let them, like, build around him. But I think Vikings, he walks in and low pressure as a starting quarterback job will be there. Kevin O'Connell will make the system easy for him, and he'll have a lot of guys to throw to. So that brings up Harry at number 12 with
for
the Broncos.
Denver, if they
Let's
don't make
ride.
any moves, I think they'll go corner here. Terry and Arnold or Quinyon Mitchell. I don't know. I'll say Mitchell. I like Mitchell the best, so I'll give them Mitchell. Him and Patrick Surtain would be dirty. I mean, Denver has a lot of needs, but there's no quarterback there to take. I don't think I would take.
You can't reach for Bo next year.
Yeah, I think you can get a stud at corner like that with if they are they keeping Surtain?
See, I don't. They're just such a wild card. I don't really see any path for them to be good.
Yeah, I mean, if
But
they got rid of him, then definitely take a corner, or you keep him, definitely take corner.
Yeah.
With this board, I think that would be their best move either way. But I know there was like rumors surrounding him. I haven't heard anything since.
It's a win-win pick. If you lose Surtain, you have his replacement. If you keep Surtain, you have the best.
one of the best
You might
corners
have
in
the
the
best,
league,
depending
yeah.
on how he plays, the best cornerback duo.
No doubt. So we got the Vegas Raiders on the clock. This is another scenario like Harry said here with the Broncos. No need to go reach for a quarterback here, especially when you got Gardner Minshew on a 2-year deal, which decent bag he got. So I think they'll be sticking with him. Maybe, if anything, maybe get like a Penix or Bo Nix in the second round or something. Another team here, they could use offensive tackle help, maybe corner. You got to protect the line, protect Gardner Minshew and them boys. So I'll go Talise Fuaga here, offensive tackle
I like
for
it.
the Raiders.
Nice pick. If you're gonna draft a quarterback in the second, he's gonna need a lot of help. So you want to protect him.
Yeah.
All right, 14 with the Saints. This is a wild card. They need a tackle. They just need an offensive line in general.
Anybody on both sides of the line.
Yeah, they're bad in the trenches. They need a quarterback. This one's tough, man. Terry and Arnold staying there, and then I think Jared Verse can't fall much further, but I'm gonna go Amarius Mims. Big physical guy. Start really changing the pace.
Something.
Changing the pace. Just you got a guy out there who can maul people to death and start winning football in the trenches.
There you go.
Yeah, I think this one will make you happy, Tank. I think it's easy. Terry and Arnold. You guys need a corner. That'd be great value. Easy one for you.
For sure. And it's like, I don't even have like a personal preference for either one. I don't care which one they get.
Right, yeah.
Like they're both dogs. Like I think
Absolutely.
they're both fitting good. So yeah, that's a good pick there. So Seattle Seahawks. This is another wild card for me too, because it's like they originally before they made the Sam Howell trade, I thought that maybe they could be in the mix for a quarterback as well. But with that Howell trade, it's either Geno or Sam. So I don't even see them drafting a quarterback in this draft. Hired a defensive head coach. Maybe he'd want to build the defense up a little bit. I'm not sure what they got going on with their offensive line or anything on that side of the ball. So maybe we'll just go Jared Verse just to fulfill the defensive head coach's needs there. Build his defense up.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's his name? Mike McDonald, right?
Mike McDonald,
the defensive coordinator from
Baltimore.
the Ravens last year. I think, yeah, they went in the trenches, man. I think that pick fits what he's gonna want to do.
For sure.
Good pick there. And then we're gonna go to Jacksonville at pick 17. They're
Duval.
weird. They're weird as hell, man. I don't know what they're trying to do.
It's tough because a lot of these teams are probably going to be trading back. Depending on how the board falls, it's so
Right.
hard to predict it. Jacksonville's one of those teams that I think can do a lot of. Seattle too, actually. I can see those teams moving.
I see a lot of people taking them out of their wide receiver race because they signed Gabe, but it's like they also lost Kelvin Ridley.
Yeah, you didn't upgrade.
No. Christian Kirk healthy was the number one anyway. So I guess Gabe kind of fits like the other side of Kirk. What Kirk can't do, Gabe kind of does a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they want to have Gabe and Zay Jones on the field at the same time. I don't know what way they're moving. But I think the best player here is either going to be Brian Thomas Jr. or Johnny Newton. And I just
That boy Johnny.
yeah,
That's still awesome.
oh man,
Tough.
this is tough, dude.
Because they could also use a corner too. They lost a lot of pieces in the secondary in this offseason so far.
Yeah, I like Kool-Aid and those other guys. I just don't
That's
think
why I could see them trading back.
Yeah, I could easily see them trading back as well. But for this pick, it's breaking my heart because I want the Bills to get him so bad. I'm gonna say Brian Thomas Jr. They
That'd
need
be a sick pick.
They need a legit number one, and that makes an okay wide receiver room into a great wide receiver room by all the pressure it takes off of Kirk and Gabe.
Yeah,
So
I like that
it'd be tough to cover them even, and then you're not even mentioning Travis Etienne and Evan Ingram. But I could see them going so many ways. Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy there as well is like a go-to pick. So
Trevor Lawrence, he's due for a contract too, so maybe they want to give him some help. So I could definitely see it.
Yeah, they could even go tackle.
Route.
I mean, that offensive line wasn't great last year, but I don't think so. They re-signed with Cam Robinson.
I was gonna say, do you remember last year? It happened like maybe the day of the draft. Was it Cam Robinson that got suspended for PEDs? It was one of their
I think
offensive
so.
linemen, and they were like they're forced to pick an offensive lineman in the first round. So maybe they go a different route here with Cam Robinson back.
Yeah, honestly, any offensive tackle, any defensive tackle, any wide receiver, even guards, whatever, I could see him doing a bunch of things. Like you said, cornerback.
I'd be so sick if they get Brian Thomas.
I would be too. I want the Bills to get him so bad, but
there's just no shot he's leaving outside the top 20. I just don't think.
I do think there is. I know he is a top 20 player, but these teams that are ahead of, and maybe this is my bias taking over. I'm trying to think logically. But a lot of these teams that need receiver and could draft him also need a lot of other things. I mean, like if the Jaguars decide they want a defensive tackle, if the Bengals, I know the Bengals are going to be in the market for a receiver, especially if they end up trading Higgins. But they're like, if they want an offensive tackle, because Joe Burrow's just getting annihilated every year. Every single one of these teams ahead of the Bills has the needs that they might pass up on him for. I just don't. The odds that 5 to 10 teams who have wide receiver needs ahead of the Bills all make the decision is pretty low. So I would like for the Bills to trade up, but here it's not it's not an option. Brian Thomas goes to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Harry's up with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think J.C. Latham for sure. You got to protect Burrow. If Bowers was to somehow fall, I would like him in Cincinnati. I think would be a good pick. In this case, I definitely like.
Would you see scenario maybe they trade up to get Bowers if he slips even past the Jets?
It's tough because I just think the Bengals have a lot going on right now. I don't think they can afford to make that move for a tight end unless they really just think like, who knows what's going to happen with Higgins? Tyler Boyd's gone. Like, let's go get a guy like Bowers. But I think here I'll just say let's protect Burrow.
They've been trying to like piece together that line.
Yeah.
They just need to draft like a legit guy.
Yeah, so I like that.
It's like
I could see
sexy
Johnny
pick,
Newton
but
or Byron Murphy as well, but I think protecting Burrow in the first round just makes more sense.
Yeah, because they lost DJ Reader.
Yeah, so I mean they got a lot of ways. That's why I mean I just can't really see them trade up. They have so many ways they can go. I think they'll just take the best available player at what they think is the most important position to their team.
Cincinnati is an interesting team next year because I mean before Burrow got hurt, everyone thought they were going to win that division, and even if they didn't win a division, they were going to compete. And they've lost so much over the last 2 years, and I've been saying this, man. Like I love Burrow, but that team was stacked, and now they have to make financial decisions, and they're losing a lot of players. And you see how good that division is. I mean, I could see them being first or fourth.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is.
Like Burrow can have an all-pro year and just drag them and win the division, or they can be forced to trade Higgins and not really have the weapons he needs. And
I'm still big on Cincy, but I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, dominoes are starting to fall for sure.
It's going to be interesting what they do over the course of the next year or two to really. People always talk about the Bills windows closed. It's like, look what's happening in Cincy, man.
It happens fast.
It does. It's all about drafting well from here on out. And I don't think Cincy or the Bills have done great in the past couple years of draft. I mean, Jamar Chase, it's easy to hit on that guy. You had the fifth pick or whatever, but. It's not like you look at the
it gets tough on the back end.
You look at the 4 probably like top AFC teams. I mean, Baltimore, Cincy ? Bills, KC, KC and Baltimore are far and away the better drafters so far the past couple of years, which is why they made the AFC Championship game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing what the Bengals do.
So speaking of teams that draft well, here goes the LA Rams, and they lost a major player in Aaron Donald. Easily give him the gold jacket right now. He's going to be hard to replace, but you got to attribute to it some way, shape, or form. Go on the edge here. Latu. Keep him in California.
Oh, you're going edge. You're not going defensive tackle to replace him?
I mean, maybe find that guy in the later rounds.
I like that, though, because Aaron Donald's not just like a traditional like defensive tackle, like plug the middle. He gets to the quarterback as well. So whatever's most important to the Rams, I can definitely.
Because I was thinking maybe Johnny Football. He might as well be the new Johnny Football. That boy Johnny. I was thinking maybe Johnny Newton there, but I don't know. I think for them it would be hard to pass up Latu because I've seen in some mocks he's like in between. Let's see, like picks 9 and like 14. So
Latu's one of the guys that you either love him. No one hates him, but a lot of people are like, he's better than Turner. He's better than Verse.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's raising up the boards. A lot of people do love Latu. 20 here with Brian Thomas off the board, and from talking to our Steelers. They don't draft wide receiver anyway, but I think if Brian Thomas was here, they might change their minds this year. But with Troy Fontenot falling he's a top 10 pick in a lot of mocks. I think this is crazy value to get Fontenot here. They have tackle needs as well. And he could end up being the best tackle in the draft, and getting him at 20 is nuts. I think drafting a guy like Murphy or Newton, like Hayward's getting a little bit older, and even just having that guy rotate in would be sick on that defensive line with Watt and those other guys and Hayward or Highsmith.
I was hoping you took Powers or whatever because that's who those guys. Like I know Ian and Aaron want him, and I was going to give the Dolphins Fontenot.
Yeah, I like Powers a lot, and if Fontenot is off the board, which it's highly likely he will be, but at 20 you cannot.
Yeah, no,
a guy
I
that
agree.
could end up being a Pro Bowl tackle at 20 is.
You got 2 new quarterbacks. You need to protect them the best that you can and open up the run game. But the Dolphins are still in a good spot here. They got to replace Christian Wilkins, so I like Johnny Newton here, Byron Murphy, whatever they want. One of the two. I'll go Johnny Newton, though.
That boy
Johnny.
All right, the Eagles. They got some holes to fill, too. But I think the main one here they can't really pass up here is cornerback. So I'm going to go Nate Wiggins.
100% agree.
Speed guy. Can make plays, man. And
I don't know which one it'll be, but it'll be one of them. I think for sure.
Yeah, Milk talked shit to me when I had him on my mock. Said he's more of a man-to-man, and I guess Vic Fangio runs his own. But
I'm not that deep into it.
No. But no. Listen, a lot of
so
like
Milk,
Daniel
Jeremiah. Sorry about it.
Daniel Jeremiah put Wiggins there, and Daniel Jeremiah knows his shit. If anyone's ever listened to him, so. I think with the athletic profile, Wiggins at 22 is awesome. He's a little small, but other than his size, there's not a bad part of his game. So I like that pick for the Eagles. So I'm on the board 23 with the Vikings. We took J.J. McCarthy earlier at 11. I think Byron Murphy's staring him right in the face here. I would have considered Nate Wiggins if you wouldn't have taken him. I don't know why it says team needs wide receiver. I think they're pretty stacked at wide receiver. But I'm going to go.
The last of their needs probably like in the 4th round.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they're like, let's throw something.
They need a third guy, I guess. Osborne left.
True.
But yeah, I'm going to go Byron Murphy here. Value at 23. Fits team need. Nice.
Not a bad guy to pick there.
Nice blend of team need and best player on the board at 23.
Yeah, this spot here, I don't know what Dallas is doing. I think I would go Tyler Guyton for them. I don't know. I really don't know what Dallas. They haven't made any moves. They're just happy with what they have. Like I don't know. I guess I think they'll just beef up the offensive line at this point. What do you guys think about Dallas?
I think with Tyler Guyton's still there. I know that Paul guy has been moving up. The guy Morgan's been moving up from Arizona, but. They just lost Tyron Smith. They've kind of been losing pieces on that offensive line every year now. Yeah. I would probably go Tyler Guyton as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a pick between Guyton and Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah,
Powers Johnson does fit like the mold of just big beefy boys on the Cowboys offense. Yeah,
Yeah, I
he
can
does
see
fit
too.
that mold. But yeah, I would say one of the two is
I
probably.
know they need a linebacker and running back. They obviously aren't going to take one here, though, so that's why this pick's
Right.
interesting to me.
Yeah, so we going Guyton?
Yeah, maybe they'll be aggressive in the draft and move up for something. They got to do something.
Yeah, I feel like they should move back because they do. They have a lot of holes.
They got to do something.
They need a wide receiver too. Like Gallup and Cooks aren't it anymore.
They don't even got Gallup anymore.
Oh yeah,
Gallup's
where'd he
gone.
go?
They cut him. Nowhere yet.
Yeah, so I mean, who's playing on the other side? Hey, they need Gilmore's not coming back, right? Or did he sign a 2-year deal?
It's not looking like it.
So they need a cornerback. They need.
Bring him back to Indy. Please.
They need. I mean, their offensive line's getting old and they're losing. I mean, they need a lot too. They're another team akin to like the Bengals, who they've been good for the past couple of years, but I can see them taking a step back if they don't draft right. So 25, just missed the Packers fan getting the Packers.
That's
pick.
he's going to return the
That was
favor.
me.
I blessed the Colts, so.
Ah, damn. Who am I going to bless the Packers with? Harry, let me get your 2 cents, bro. I mean, who are we looking at on this board here? I just want to
Right here, 100%, I want DeJean or Kool-Aid. Wiggins, any of them
Kool-Aid.
guys. Like, I know Wiggins is gone, but I'm saying, like, come draft day, whatever corner is best available there. I know that kid from Missouri is starting to shoot up the boards. What's his name?
Oh,
corner.
Robinson or corner, you said? I don't know.
I saw TJ
Bergeron
Tampa
or
moving
something.
up in some boards. He's from Iowa State, though, I believe.
What's his name?
So let me ask you now. Let me follow up with that. Because I seen Cooper DeJean could play corner or safety. Do we know which one he's going to be sticking with here? Or?
I don't. I thought it was going to be corner. Do you know?
You guys signed.
Yeah, we got.
I think it's team
McKinney,
fit.
yeah.
I think it's team fit. I think whatever the team he has the athletic profile to play cornerback. So why are we gonna switch it?
I mean, let's have some fun
He
here.
was a-
Let's go Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah, I'm
Kool-Aid
absolutely cool.
Let's go
with
Kool-Aid
there.
McKinstry, man. Let's just say the Packers are a little concerned with his Cooper DeJean's injury.
And it's Rex Straw.
Yeah.
Rick Straw or whatever is from Missouri. He's mocked to go to the Eagles. So, like, yeah, just whatever one's available, whoever Green Bay thinks is the best, I'm happy with. But that's the position that I would like to go.
Had a good
Kool-Aid.
pro day since he couldn't participate at the combine.
Yeah, so I am cool with Kool-Aid. I like the name. So let's get it.
Sell some merch.
Yeah. I'm definitely happy
from
with
the
that.
team that drafted Clinton Dix.
Oh, bro,
it
it's-
fits.
Kool-Aid's got to
fits.
redeem it for us, man.
It
For
fits.
sure.
Yeah, I'm happy with all those guys, honestly.
This makes it tough because I think Cooper DeJean is far better than a top 26. Like getting Cooper DeJean here is a steal.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But
Jackson Powers Johnson's still up there. Huh?
and that's what I'm, like the top 3 guys on the board here: Jackson Powers Johnson, Chop Robinson, Cooper DeJean, even Keon Coleman. I know they re-signed Mike Evans, but he's built in the same mold as a guy like Mike Evans, and I think the smart teams get ahead of the curve and they draft the guys to replace the guys they already have, even while they're still on the same team.
But it's Tampa smart.
They've been doing all right.
I mean, they've hit in the draft the past couple years. This one's tough, man, because Jackson Powers Johnson's an awesome pick there. They do need a center, but I think Cooper DeJean's just the best player available right now. I think he's being slept on. Great in run defense, great coverage. He's just he can do everything, man. And I don't know. I don't understand why he's sliding, but so I'm gonna go Cooper DeJean here. I think he falls right into Tampa's lap. And he plays corner over there because they already have Antoine Winfield. I don't know who their other safety is, but guy who can do both.
All right.
And it's like you can start him at corner if he's not the best, then you switch him over to safety.
Mix it up a little bit.
But I think he deserves a shot to actually play corner before someone's just like, hey, you're a safety now.
We really know. We really know why he.
I know, I get it. It hasn't happened since like 1932, but. Yeah, just let the man play. He has. He's done it at a high level in college. He has the athletic profile. I just don't see the reasoning in switching him to safety.
I agree.
But yeah, so it brings up Harry.
Arizona, where we go? Harrison so
Yeah.
far?
Yeah, we went Marv.
Yeah, so let's go Chop Robinson.
Jonathan Gannon would love that.
Yeah, I like that pick for them. That'd be a real nice. Harrison and Robinson would be fire for them.
All the pressure's on me, huh, Josh?
No, this guy got the Packers and the Bills. This is tough.
I'm the
here.
voice of TrapNerd Sports right now.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. So
We took the bias out of it, dude. We did. The randomizer was like, we need to get the bias out of
They
here.
did.
Let the guy make the draft pick.
They didn't. Man, so obviously a lot of the fans want receiver here, and I feel like it's going to come down to Coleman or Mitchell. I personally thought myself they would not go receiver here, But the guys who I originally thought they would take are off the board right now. So I think
Who would you think if?
I think it was either going to be one of the defensive tackles, or I could even see him going maybe a Kool-Aid McKinstry, because I've heard a couple Brandon Beane interviews, and he liked what he saw at Alabama's pro day.
So I'm not trying to influence you here.
So
Like
follow up by trying to influence.
No, I'm not. I've been screaming wide receiver from the rooftops, but I've been screaming Brian Thomas Jr. from the rooftops.
Yeah.
If Brian Thomas Jr. is not there, Harry loves Adonai Mitchell. I love his potential, but his analytics are awful. Guy that there's just a lot of bad things when you start digging deeper into him. I would love if a guy like Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid fell to us if Brian Thomas was not available, because I'm sick of the back and forth of who the cornerback 2 is going to be.
Yeah.
But like with the way this board fell, I don't even know what pick I'd make, man. I like this. This is
All
the
of Buffalo's
this is
on my
a worst
shoulders,
case
bro.
scenario board for the Buffalo Bills. Both the tackles gone, the wide receivers we want gone, the cornerbacks we want gone. This is tough. I don't know what Bean does here if this is how it falls.
I could piss off the whole city of Buffalo and take Jackson Powers Johnson right here.
I wouldn't be mad.
They got Will Clapp.
Connor McGovern, I know you're moving him, but why fuck around?
Take a true center.
Yeah, take a true
You know
center.
what? We're going to piss off Buffalo other than Josh. We're going to take Jackson Powers Johnson to fill that center role there.
I don't think any pick that is in the trenches is a bad pick.
Okay.
If the player ends up being a good player, he's playing the most important position outside of quarterback in my mind, offensive line, defensive line. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Move McGovern back to guard where he was great last year, and now you got a 330-pound center. Toss boys around. I would love that. I wouldn't love it because I want Brian Thomas, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
Brian Thomas probably ain't realistic though.
It's not unless we
Hell no.
unless we trade up. It's not realistic.
Hell no.
I hope so for you though, man. It'd be
Yeah. So is it my pick? 29. I mean,
Detroit.
I put Keon Coleman here in my first mock draft. With the way the board fell, it's got to be him or Barton in my opinion. Donnie Mitchell would be nice there too, but they already got their speed guy in Jamison Williams. I think Keon Coleman complements the team well, so we're going to go there. They got their intermediate guy open every play in Amon Ra. They got their speed down the field guy in Jamison Williams. Now they got a big guy who can go up and get it. Keon Coleman.
I like it. Well, since
Be more.
Buffalo dropped the ball, Baltimore will, as always, be blessed, and Adonai Mitchell will fall right into their lap. That's the guy I like. I do like Brian Thomas more, but I just don't think it's realistic. So I think the perfect pick for you guys is Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of they were just saying he's not too super crisp in his routes, drops some balls, that doesn't get open at an elite rate. But I mean, we've seen guys like that.
I'm a big film guy over like testing and shit. That's
It
why I think
wasn't wasn't really testing. It is like the film.
What was it?
So I'm not gonna explain it in the right way, but it's basically like on film you see that he's fast and strong and whatever. But then you also kind of see he's not really open all the time, but a lot of that could be.
He's also playing with Quinn Ewers, who and I forgot who Texas head coach is compared to coming to that playing.
Yeah,
with
that's what I was
playing
gonna
with
say,
Josh
yeah.
Allen, opposite side of Diggs. Like I just think a lot of things change, but these guys obviously know more. I would hope know more than us, but.
I wouldn't be too mad at the risk on Mitchell. I mean, he's got the speed if we can coach him in the right way to he doesn't need to do all of those other things in Buffalo. So it's like he can just run straight in Buffalo because we have Diggs and we have Shakir, whoever they like, and Curtis Samuel, and Kincaid still, I believe, can be a top 5 tight end.
Yeah,
so
Kincaid's the man.
I mean, with Buffalo, if they were to draft him, I wouldn't be mad because it is the perfect situation for him to succeed. But I think he is a tier below Brian Thomas.
Oh, no, there's no question about that in my opinion. But like I said, I just don't think Brian Thomas is realistic. So unless you guys were to trade up.
Yeah, I think Bean's been aggressive before, man. I mean, his best draft was getting Josh Allen, then trading up to get Tremaine, and he's not afraid to do it. And I think he knows that it sucks giving up like a third-round pick or whatever it's going to take. But if you're getting your guy, what are you getting in the third round that you're really losing?
Right.
If you lose like a decent starting linebacker, it's like, okay, you didn't get him in the third round, go sign him in free agency or something.
Yeah, you know me, I've always been about getting my guy.
Yeah.
If I think it's the missing piece of the puzzle, like you want to win a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So
The missing piece for Buffalo is a shutdown corner and or a fucking big play guy to pair with.
yeah, so even if you guys traded up and grabbed one of the star corners, like there's definitely options.
Yeah, I think with how the way our team is, I think the assets of a mid-round pick, and I don't think it's going to cost. Like, if he lasts at 20 to move up 8 spots, what's that really going to cost you? I guess we'd have to see, but in a team like Buffalo's position, if you're a team like Buffalo, you're a team like Kansas City, it's like you don't really have a lot of holes. Who cares that you're not going to have that pick?
Yeah.
Get the fucking guy that's going to put you over.
Get you guys going to put you over.
So,
I agree.
with that being said, Tank.
The 49ers. So we were just in the Super Bowl. What really killed us was our offensive line. So my hands are kind of tied here. We're going to go Graham Barton here, offensive guard out of Duke. Protect the money man himself, Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Not a sexy pick, but it's a good pick.
You got to do what you got to do.
And then, finishing out the draft.
The champions.
Champion Chiefs. 3 times in the last, was it 4 years or 5 years?
3 out of 4, I want to say.
3 out of 4, I believe.
2 in a row,
yeah.
Why not make it another?
I think Worthy was a really big possibility here before they signed Hollywood, but at that point you're getting a little too redundant in your skill sets.
We'll see what happens with
That's what I was just about to say. It might have opened back up with the Raji Rice.
Yeah, but Worthy doesn't play like Rice. If they're really worried about Rice getting suspended, they need a guy who's going to get open short routes, which I think would be a guy like Ricky Pearsall, but here would be would be a reach in my opinion. They do need a tackle. The same thing with them. They kind of piece together their tackles. I can see them trading back here, but if they're not going to trade back. This is a tough pick, man.
It is.
Worthy, like I said, is redundant. I think Pearsall fits, like if they need to replace Rice, fits kind of the same mold as Rice. Same thing with Lad McConkey, but I think that would be slightly reaching here, and they're not a team that reaches. So if they're not going to trade back, who do I want between Morgan and Kingsley?
Flip a coin.
I'm going to go with Kingsley. He might not even start this year. Who's their left tackle? I know they signed Jawan Taylor. But who was their other tackle? Wasn't the greatest, but he might not even start this year. Kingsley could come in, develop, and be a long-time starter. At the very least, he'll be a swing tackle going in the next year, and they don't have any really big needs that they need to fill. So there we go, man.
Yeah, I like it. Let's see how accurate it is come draft day.
Yeah, we'll need to save this one. I like this board a lot. I'll
download it.
So there you go. We're using the Pro Football Mock Draft Simulator, using the link from Tank Talk over here.
Yes, sir. Free trades, by the way. I know this was we did a mock with no trades, but I know those other mock draft simulators. Some of them make you pay to trade, and I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
so just go to Pro Football Network, use their mock draft simulator. We got the link connected to all our socials at TankTalk_pod. So if you want to make your own mock, go ahead and click the link in our descriptions on one of our socials and get it cooking.
There you go. There you see it. I like
There'll
that
definitely
board
be
a
some
lot.
trades. It's just hard.
It's kind of hard to
Pick those
forecast
spots,
it.
yeah, but we know there'll be a couple always.
If there was one like blockbuster trade that is going to be made, whether it's one of these teams on the back end that trade up and go get a guy in the top 10, if you had to pick one team, which team do you guys think will go ahead and make that splash in, let's just say, in the top 10?
I think Minnesota is
100%.
I think they're not guaranteed. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed, but I just don't see the reasoning in giving up 2 second-rounders for a first-rounder if you're not then going to use that to move up. It just kind of, especially as early as they did it. I mean, I talked about it last week, but you normally see that kind of move if you're going to give up 2 seconds to jump into the first. 2 seconds is not something to laugh at. It's because, okay, Brian Thomas, we thought he had no chance of falling to us, and now he's at 21. And it's like a not, I wouldn't say a panic move, but more of like a high urgency move. This guy's fallen. He's not going to fall much further. Here, take my seconds. Let's move up. Let's get our guy.
Yeah.
To do it before the draft,
way before.
Yeah, without knowing how the board was going to fall, it shows me that they're not worried about any of those guys in the back end of the draft. They're worried about a specific guy, i.e. J.J. McCarthy. If the Commanders fuck up and let Drake May fall, if the Patriots are willing to trade back and say they want to build their team more before throwing a rookie in there. I just don't see why Minnesota did what they did if it wasn't to trade up. And then I do really not just because I'm a Bills fan, but I do really think the Bills are going to be in the market to trade up. I think they know it kind of thins out once you get past 20 in this draft, and they want their guy. I mean, they need their over the top guy. So I think they're the two most common.
I think Denver's a
Most
possibility
likely,
as
yeah.
well. But yeah, I mean, I would say Minnesota more. It's more likely with the trade that they just made as well. So I don't know. I just don't see those top teams moving up though. Buffalo, Detroit, Baltimore. I don't know. It's just tough.
I don't think Baltimore does, because I think Baltimore is so confident in their ability to pick anywhere in the
Every
draft.
year, yeah.
Because they all, like Jackson Powers, they don't need a center because they did just draft, what's his name, a couple years ago. But, like, if they needed a center, somehow Jackson Powers would fall to 30. Like, that's just how the Ravens are. The guy they want always falls to them. They're willing to break the draft rules, drafting a safety top 10 or whatever.
Yep.
So I definitely don't see those guys. And then San Fran doesn't really have any just pressing needs. Like with San Fran and Chiefs, even the guys we gave them, they might not even start year one. I mean, those are more future picks when Jawan Taylor gets old, or so. But the Bills, I think, no. I think if you're the Bills, if you're the Lions, if you're one of, like, even the Packers.
I said Dallas. That's the team that I think, with such a boring free agency, legit doing nothing,
Make a splash.
they need to do something, like just to make their fans happy and move up and grab whatever.
I could see them
is.
moving up and grabbing a guy like Brian Thomas.
Yeah, they need to do something, because they did nothing. And out of every team in the entire league, they were the one team that just was like,
They
yeah.
brought back their long snapper. Right
Yeah,
there.
so I could see if there was going to be a Super Bowl contender or like a top tier team, Dallas, I could definitely see moving up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Buffalo, yeah, they're sick of losing to Mahomes. Let's move up and make a move. Green Bay, I never know what the hell they're going to do in the draft. I'm happy to just stay at 25, though. I don't think there's any possibility that a star corner don't fall to us at 25, so I'm cool with just staying there.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I can see Buffalo with the fact that, like, we have to get over the hump. Like, let's go and get this guy, whether it's a corner or a star.
And I just
receiver.
think with Buffalo's they're in such an urgent spot right now, because you have Diggs, who hopefully the last 8 weeks of the season wasn't what's going to go forward, but what if it is? Like, you need to replace him. One, you need to help him while he's still on your team, and two, you need to replace him, because if he's not gone next year, he'll be gone the year after that. So they're in such an urgent need of a guy to continue Josh Allen, to make sure that, I mean, you look at like a guy like Peyton Manning. When Marvin Harrison started getting too old, they had Reggie Wayne waiting for him. He goes to Denver, same thing with Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace. Like, you don't want to waste having those guys,
right?
And you don't want to have to wait another couple years. I mean, you're never going to get the elite wide receiver prospect if you don't trade up, and they need to now. If Diggs is not the same guy as he was the past couple of years, they need a guy to take the pressure off of him, and then they need a guy to replace him. So I think they're in a more urgent need than the other contenders. If any of those back end teams were going to trade up, it's going to be them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I say that with as little as bias as I possibly can, because I don't think anyone else needs to. I mean, the rest of those teams are they don't have many.
They can
holes.
sit tight.
Like, I mean, the
They
Lions
can trade
don't really
back
have.
before, you know what I mean? They
Yeah,
can just keep
exactly.
gaining assets.
Yeah, I could also see the Bills trading back if Brian Thomas. If there's no possibility of getting Brian Thomas, or they don't like Keon Mitchell or one of those guys, and they're like, well, corners are gone, the receivers I like are gone. Let's trade. I could see that happening too.
Sure.
I could see the Bengals trading
That'd be a great
up.
player though, Keon Mitchell.
What's that?
You said Keon Mitchell.
Did I say Keon Mitchell?
That would be
Keon
awesome,
Mitchell,
yeah.
ew.
He would be
He's
sick.
Yeah.
a dog.
Yeah, that dude
But
would
no,
be,
for sure.
he'd be nice. But yeah, I like this draft board. I could easily see it falling that way.
All right.
So thanks for the exercise there, Tank.
Of course, anytime you need it, it's there.
And then before switching over to some March Madness, we're gonna talk not too much, but
There was some breaking news.
yeah, Rashi Rice, Cam Sutton. I know it's not a breaking news thing, but two very weird scenarios kind of happening back to back in the NFL. There, Cam Sutton just turned himself in. I think he did next year is.
What was he doing?
There was a couple different stories.
Did
Like
he
he got,
throw his girl out the window or something?
I heard one. That was one of the
Shit.
stories I
Wild.
heard. I think he ended up getting charged with strangulation.
These dudes be bugging.
It's that off-season
That's
shit,
that
bro.
CT ESPN right there, man.
For real.
And then Rashi Rice, like you literally just saw this, and it was way worse for Ruggs. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
but they did the same. It was the same thing.
And what's it called
Ruggs
too?
just got
Carter.
Jalen Carter, yeah. Just come on, guys.
I don't know, man.
Come on, guys. You got so much to lose, man.
And
You're
it's
out
like,
here acting like you don't.
Like, obviously, it falls on them, right?
Yeah.
Just for one, they're the bigger name out of, like, whoever they're with. But, two, it's like, I know, like, they can make their own decisions. They're adults. But it's the people they surround themselves with, bro. That's the thing that gets me. It's like, if you, like, let's say, Josh, you're in the league or something, and you got this crazy-ass career ahead of you. You're going to have it made. And, you just want to have fun. You got money at such a young age. You don't know what to do with this. So we're doing silly shit. And I'm with you. And it's like, hold up, wait a second, bro. Why the fuck are we doing this? Risking your whole career and everything you got. It's like it could all be gone in a matter of moments.
I think part of it is like it's just youth, man. Like these guys, I did a lot of dumb shit when I was a kid.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't have a fucking $300,000 car that could go 120 miles an hour. So like,
if you did,
I got a beater up to 100 miles an hour on the highway one time. Like I wasn't racing anyone, but like
I think you're right.
it's like It's and then on the flip side, it's like one, you're likely to do dumb things anyway, it being that young. Rashee Rice is what, 22, 23 years old. Yeah. You're gonna do dumb shit anyway, and then on top of that, you're around a bunch of people who don't really have anything to lose. Like every day that you're spending with your friend who's making millions is like free pleasure. It's free happiness. It's like I don't have this car. It doesn't matter if this car crashes to me. All this stuff is given to me because my friend is good at something.
Yeah.
And then the young kids have this false sense of loyalty too, man. Once you hit 30, you see a lot of people that you were loyal to that you kind of did things for and lessened yourself for not be there 10 years down the road. But he doesn't know that. He'll see at 30 that fucking guy telling me to drive that fast was not a good friend.
Yeah.
And I was loyal to him and kept him around and did dumb things with him. But
yeah, I think it's like what you're saying, but people so you are who you are. Like you like what you like to do. You do what you do. Now you have millions of dollars.
Right, you literally
so
do.
now say these guys like to drive their cars fast and race and all that. Now you can afford these cars. You're going to do this. What we say is like, oh, this shit's stupid. I would never do that. But there's probably shit me and you did when we were, I've never really been too adventurous or crazy. Yeah. But I'm sure if I got handed millions of dollars, I might do some extra crazy shit. Or even look at people like Aaron Hernandez, like people who were already like violent and fighters and all this. Now you have millions of dollars. You can hire people. You feel like you're in power. Like money changes a lot of shit too. So it's easy to say like, how can you be so stupid? But when you are Henry Ruggs and maybe you always wanted to drive fast as hell and you played video game, I don't know. And then you get all this money and you can afford this car. Like it sucks that it happens, but
it's crazy. Like obviously this doesn't go through their minds you have that. The best thing about having that kind of money is you can do those things in a safe manner. You can go rent a fucking space or a speedway. Like
right.
Yeah. You can go do those things, but you're not really thinking of that in the moment. You're like, I'm 24 and I'm driving.
Yeah, you're just excited. Like, a
Maserati or whatever you're driving.
Like, I bet you I can outrace you in this car. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it happens. Like, oh, fuck that. And then they start spazzing.
The one thing with Henry Ruggs was really fucking dumb. And Preston, like, someone died in that situation. Mm-hmm. Luckily, no one got hurt in the Rice thing, or it was like a mild injury.
It's like a mom and her, like, young son or something.
But they didn't die, right?
No.
They were, like, out of the hospital and stuff already, I believe.
Like, it's just crazy.
But at least he was on the highway. I mean, Henry Ruggs is going through
just
Vegas. You guys both have you been to Vegas? I know, those aren't streets that you can
don't do that shit.
That they're not even wide. Like that was really dumb. I've never done anything that dumb.
Boozed up too.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's dumb. But I think Rice. No one got seriously hurt. He's gonna get in trouble, but we see these things take forever. I mean, we had video evidence of Alvin Kamara beating the living shit out of someone, and he didn't get suspended until like a year and a half later.
No. Yeah, that story was there somebody like fighting him and his friends, and they just ended up
he said things, but it's still you can't legally.
That one I see, like I know people won't agree with me,
I don't judge,
but that's one that I'll always be like, you know what, that dude should have been talking shit.
But
like as far as just getting in a car and driving a million miles an hour, like that's just wild because now you're just risking your life and everybody else who's just on the road's life. Yeah.
Morally, I agree. I don't think Kamara did anything wrong. You wrote a fucking check that your ass couldn't cash. Yeah. I mean, you fucking talked a bunch of shit to 5 dudes who are bigger than you, and you got beat up. What the fuck you expect? But
And we'll never
We've
know the
seen-
real details of whose fault it was either, so it's hard to just blame. Like
Legally,
Kamara.
though, which the NFL has leaned towards, they're not the most moral league in the world. It's more about the legal issues, and they were like, "We're gonna see where it goes with Kamara." And the thing that rich people do and good lawyers do is, let me push this back. Let's reschedule. Let's
And pay the
reschedule. Let's
people off,
reschedule.
too.
And then a year and a half later, they finally get in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't think they're gonna suspend Rice. This
and I'm sure he
year.
can prove. There's no proof that he was the driver, right?
Well, there is a video, but I don't know how clear it is.
Yeah,
There's like a
it's
dash
like
cam.
it's a dash cam, and it's like it just shows them getting out of the car.
Because if you
really
can't
tell
see if
who's-
he's the driver, you don't think his boys will be like, "I got you." You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. And
Yeah.
also, like, they fled the scene too, so it's not like
They had like
we
guns
we
and
don't
shit.
know.
I don't know. That shit's wild.
Did they have guns?
Yeah, they had like bags of guns and shit. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, that's what the woman was saying.
Like when what they were walking away with?
Yeah, they hurried up and grabbed a bunch of guns out the car and shit.
Oh,
That's
well,
why
I
like his
would've ran
cleat.
too,
I think
'cause
like
then he would have been
his
fucked.
cleat like ended up on the
sure.
ground or something, like one of his cleats or some shit, or like was in the back seat.
Well, they won't be able to prove that unless they caught him with the gun.
Yeah.
So shit, he made the right decision.
Yeah. And that's just kind of what I was alluding to too. So it's like you don't know if he was like drinking. You obviously don't know if
Yeah.
he was driving. Cars are obviously in his name, so it automatically ties to him. But it's like they fled for for a reason,
Yeah.
so we were never gonna know. But I don't know. We'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm leaning
Nobody
towards
got hurt,
worst case
luckily,
scenario. He gets suspended for 4 to 6 weeks this year. I'm gonna say it's more likely that happens next season after the court plays out and all that.
Dude, Mahomes will just go into court and be like, "I need Rice," and they're like, "Okay," because that's just unfortunately like how like sports like runs the world basically, unless it's something that is next level shit.
For sure.
But like you think, I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's just Raji Rice. Like I guess he's not gonna. But it's even like you ever notice like during COVID, like once the playoffs hit during COVID, nobody had COVID. It was like
Everyone
Rodgers
was
missed
fine.
a game. Guys were missing every week, but once it was the playoffs, nobody was sick because there was no way Josh Allen or Rodgers or Mahomes were missing a playoff game. So there's just no way that I could see like a young star on the Chiefs is gonna get in too much trouble for this. But
I don't
guess
think
we'll
so
see.
either. People are sending me like crazy offers in Donnie's league to get Rice.
yeah,
Like, I'm not panicking. Like I'm not. One, it's a dynasty league. I don't give a fuck if he gets suspended for a whole year.
what could he
Two,
get charged with though?
Fleeing a scene, depending on what state's pretty.
They're in Texas, so.
Also, that's something that I don't really know shit about. So that's something that would be big.
It
Oh,
could
I don't
be.
know.
I don't know.
My
Exactly
guess
how
was
the state is,
maybe not.
Let's see
I
what
don't know.
fleeing the scene because someone was injured, even though they didn't.
Because you know the
die.
guns aren't going to get proven to him.
No.
Well, they
they'll
didn't
have to-
find the guns, right? The girl just said that.
I don't. I would have to look more into it.
Now
I don't
that
really
you
pay
now
attention
that
to
you said
shit.
it, like I do remember like her. I seeing like a quote somewhere of her saying that, but there's no evidence.
Yeah, he'll have somebody take the fall for shit like that. Like
It's
they
a
probably
second
won't-
degree felony and just to leave.
Oh, okay.
This is a second degree felony can result in 2 to 20 years in jail.
Oh
That's
wow.
wild.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
then
shit.
then I'm wrong.
But
about
that's the
that.
wide range of
Yeah.
second degree felonies. I would assume fleeing the scene is probably on the lower end, so like 2 years. But then you have a great lawyer, and he's never been in trouble before, so he's
Yeah.
gonna get probation. Like we know how this goes. But the fact that it could be a felony,
Yeah, I didn't know that. So
I don't know.
Texas
That's
is
crazy.
Texas is tough. So I just want to see Rashi Rice real quick, because I didn't hear anything about the guns. I just saw him leaving
Yeah.
They interviewed her, and I think
He was in a
few quotes
Corvette.
came out.
first-hand account, 6 car crash.
Do we know who won the race?
I don't think so.
Too soon.
Terrifying moment, her Hyundai accent, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not your children, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't see anything about guns, but
Yeah, I'll find it for you after here.
her shoulder's still hurting. Her shoulder don't hurt.
Oh,
She's
dude,
just
my
trying to
shoulder
get-
would hurt so
Oh,
bad.
She's
my
trying to
sister-
get paid.
I wasn't even there. My shit
Yeah,
hurt.
I would have bounced my head off the fucking ground. I'd have done some crazy shit. I'd have shit myself. There's like a law or something like if you like an
Yeah, so
accident, like
she's
you
saying
shit
that
yourself.
she did see it.
Like it's,
So
They're
he
about to
knew
get
the
paid.
person he was racing then. So she says that the guy that like so there was a Lamborghini and a Corvette, and the guy in the he was in the Corvette, and the guy in the Lamborghini came over and like pulled him out of the car. And then she said that like a bag of guns, but it's like I feel like she's probably just being.
I don't know. See,
I'm on the
'cause-
news. Let me hype this up.
Because in
She's
the
about to get
video,
paid.
Yeah.
video, no one comes. It doesn't look like anybody comes from a
Say, I
Lamborghini
know.
and pulls anybody. They just get out the car and they dip.
yeah. She's
she's either gonna be missing soon or she'll be paid
Oh
soon.
my
It's one of
God.
those two things.
Gonna be missing.
She'll either go missing or be a millionaire. So good luck to
I'm
her.
really nervous.
Or both.
Or both, yeah.
Oh shit.
But yeah, anything else with football relations?
Not huge, but since there hasn't really been too much news, Hassan Reddick got traded to the Jets from the Eagles,
yeah.
and then just now
that
Julian
is big,
Julian
actually.
Blackman signed a year with the Colts. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
He
I like
was
that
with you
move.
guys, right?
he was
Yeah.
but he visited
He visited the
the
Bills,
Bills and then the Niners, and nothing came of it. So I guess
How much
he's-
did you guys sign
I didn't
for?
see the money, but it was just a 1-year deal.
Yeah, Reddick to the Jets, so that was the other move. I did forget about that. That's a huge. They're
It's
all
weird.
in.
They the Eagles are just the best. They sign Huff, the younger of the two, and then they're like, here, you can have Reddick, the older of the two.
He was defensive player of the year or whatever, defensive player of the year candidate 2 years ago. Last year was whatever. You guys can take him now. Like they.
Yeah,
they are
we'll
good.
take your young guy who played really well.
Right.
But if you're the Jets, I heard Michael Lombardi talk about this today on his podcast, which, by the way, this is just hilarious. He calls the New York Jets the New York ifs because they got nothing but players that they'd be good if they stay healthy. So the New York if. So the Jets, they he was saying it's confusing that they let Huff go and bring in Hassan Reddick, and they plan on giving Hassan Reddick an extension that probably could have just went to Huff. So I don't really fully understand that, but
I don't understand giving either of them an extent. Like, I mean, you have Jermaine Johnson. You have the guy. Who's the guy they drafted last year?
McDonald.
McDonald.
Yeah.
You have these young guys who should develop into something. And I mean, I know they weren't great last year, but everyone's pretty high on both of them as developmental pieces. I guess you want Reddick. He's played in a Super Bowl. You kind of bring some leadership to that defense. It's a pretty young defense, but yeah, it's just certain of the moves the Jets have made. I've been like, those are really good moves, and then the other Jet moves they've made, I've been like, seems like a New York Jets move
for sure. Some of it seems like desperation too, because they're in on Clowney too. So maybe they're just trying to stag it up, and they're kind of getting desperate. We need to go get this shit now.
They're legit all in.
So
They're doing whatever.
They're a team I could see win 10 games or fucking 15. Man, they're in such a weird position, dude.
it all depends on Rodgers, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but they don't have any other pass catching options other than Wilson.
You got him taking Rome.
No, I have Rome going.
Oh, my bad.
You had him
Brock.
taking Bowers.
I got him taking Brock Bowers.
But
Yeah,
if
but then what
Rome's
if a
there,
tackle?
he's
What if
gonna
a
be
tackle
there.
goes down, and now it's like Rodgers just gets fucking hurt again, and
Well, those are the ifs. That's why they're the New York
I
ifs.
know,
New York
man, it's
is.
just that's what I'm saying.
If those things happen, then yeah, they'll stink. But if the stars align, they're gonna be fucking tough.
I wouldn't be too happy as a Jets fan. I don't like team building that way. It's why
No,
that's
it worked for
why
the
I wasn't.
Rams.
It did work. It did work for the Rams.
Work for the Bucks. So it's at
But
least
the
happened
Rams-
recently.
But the Rams did it in the Bucks. I guess it's similar because the Jets do have a really good team outside of not having a second receiver. But like the Rams, they were kind of already there with Goff. They needed a guy who was a step up of Goff. But they went to the Super Bowl already.
Well, the Jets are
before-
winning 7 games every year with legit dog shit at quarterback.
But they went to the Super Bowl, so it was like adding Stafford was like a legit. We know we can win the Super Bowl. With
Well,
Stafford.
no, I get what you're saying. But I'm saying when you have dog shit winning 7 games, Rodgers should double that.
He should, but he's also 41.
He's
and
40 coming
an
off the injury.
Achilles.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's definitely gonna be.
I
Tough,
just wouldn't
but-
be happy. I mean, I know the potential's there, but if I'm a Jets fan, I'm just like the whole season's just going to be stressful because if we don't win it this year, we're right back to being the Jets.
Yeah, no, it
And
definitely
it's
is scary.
That's why I wasn't the biggest fan of the Russell move for the Steelers. Like I would rather kind of be bad for a couple years and really build something that could be special.
Well, that's why it
Instead
seems
of-
like the Falcons pay Kirk Cousins, so they don't want to be bad. They just want
Yeah.
to sell tickets and compete for a division or whatever it is. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, exact same thing with the Falcons. It's like he's a little bit younger. The offensive line, but the offensive line's also already there in Atlanta. You don't really.
yeah,
have
they have
the same,
a better team.
You don't
like
really have
around
the same
him on
worries
offense,
and
I would
stuff.
say.
But I don't know. I feel like there's always guys. Not you're not always gonna get a guy like Rodgers, but I mean you could get a guy that's gonna do something similar to Cousins and whatever. Like you could have took a flyer on Fields for way less, and then if you sucked, I don't know.
I guess we just gotta see it play out.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you just judge. Like it sucks, but you will judge it by what happens.
Yeah.
The Jets win a Super Bowl, like we're not gonna question it. And if they suck for the next,
It's
10
just
years,
going to be
we're gonna laugh at
stressful
'em.
as fuck for being a Jets fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It's a lot of
gonna-
pressure on
yeah.
them. The window's not open like for more than a year or two.
Yeah, and then you
So-
got to start all over again.
All over
Yeah.
All over again. But that's it for football. I'm sure something will happen in the next week, and we'll have something more to talk about.
Hopefully.
Next week we'll do a more traditional mock. We'll all bring like our own mocks for because the draft after is only a couple weeks away.
Couple
3
more
weeks.
weeks.
3 weeks from Thursday,
Crazy.
which will be tomorrow when you guys are listening to this.
We should run the second round next week though. Us three do the same thing for the second round would be fun.
We can do that.
And then do a mock like because what would because then we would only be like 2 weeks out. We can do our mock and then not have to have too many crazy changes.
Yeah. All right, moving on to some March Madness. It's been a fun tournament, man.
Yeah, it has.
NC State.
Surprisingly, I enjoyed the second weekend better than the first weekend,
Yeah.
and that never happens for me.
Because we didn't really see anything crazy in the first week other than the Oakland win. All the 11 seeds except for New Mexico won, but that's not really, especially this year where a lot of these guys were underseeded and overseeded. And it just felt like an 11 seed upset was not a big deal this year. I wouldn't have been really mind blown if some more 12 seeds won.
2 of them did.
Yeah, so we're seeing the best basketball from the best teams.
That's what's nice,
which is always fun. And it's not the same. I know UConn and Purdue, but Purdue hasn't made it this far. I think this is since 1980.
Yeah.
UConn obviously is going for a repeat, but
Which
then
we haven't seen that since 2007,
I think.
Yeah.
2007, 2008.
When my
with
boys
Florida,
did it.
yeah.
So that's fun to have that story, to see UConn dominate. We haven't seen that in like 20 years or 15 years. And then to see Purdue, the second 1 seed to ever lose to a 16 seed. And the last time it happened, Virginia won the national championship. Now Purdue is in the Final Four. Zach Edey's on shit. Like
The only team that's come close to them was Tennessee.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been fun to watch Edey respond and Purdue respond. It's been fun to watch UConn dominate. And I really hope that's our national championship because that would be a lot of fun.
Then you got Alabama and NC State.
NC State's hot
As
as
two
fuck.
teams that aren't usually in this position.
Yeah.
Alabama, I think they got really lucky with the draws they got.
And North Carolina blew that. I thought
Yeah,
Nate
they
Oates outcoached Hubert Davis really badly in that game. RJ Davis obviously stunk it up, unfortunately for him, because he's had a great career. And then, then you get Clemson instead of Arizona, who I just wasn't big on Clemson at all. They made it to the Elite Eight, great for them. But, yeah, Mark Sears is too good. Alabama, they got a lot of firepower. I don't think they can contend with UConn, but they're going to get up and down the court with them.
Yeah, I mean, the way they were able to beat North Carolina is they turned it into a fucking foot race.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, Nate Oates outcoached Hubert Davis. You cannot win. That's the only way for Bama to win. That's why I wasn't really high on Bama this year, because they don't have a guy like Brandon Miller. And I thought there's only one way for them to win. And to do that 3 times in a tournament, especially once you start playing guys like NC State or North Carolina, my bad.
Gee.
I was like, there's no way they can make the. I knew Charleston was like they both play the same way.
I thought
Alabama's
Grand Canyon was going to
just
get them.
better. But none of these teams are able to stop them from playing the
Nate
game
Oates
they
is
want
a
to play.
huge reason. I feel like the Grand Canyon game could have went either way. The UNC game would have went their way. I just feel like Nate Oates was a huge reason in why they won. Like, my buddy's a Tar Heel fan, and he was even saying like they were running lineups in the final few minutes that they hadn't run at all season long, or maybe just a few times. Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you
talking
going
about North Carolina?
Yeah, like you're going to run out a lineup that you've only used a handful of times or not at all. And then the one kid took a 3 at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was atrocious.
It was just such a bad shot, such a bad play. Like I said, RJ Davis, like 4 for 20. Like I felt
I
bad
think he was
for
like
him.
0 for 9 from 3.
Yeah, like he's such a great player. He's meant a lot to the team, but he was horrible. Mark Sears was a million times better than him, and it still almost wasn't enough. That's how good teams like North Carolina are. But
yeah, North Carolina is clearly. Alabama beat them, so I can't say clearly the better team, but they are. Everything that possibly could go wrong for North Carolina, they let Alabama get out and get in transition a lot, let them run and
that Nelson kid was on shit.
Yeah, they were getting contributions from players who aren't typically as good as they were that night. RJ Davis, the best player,
First
at least
team
best
All-American.
play, yeah.
ACC Player of the Year.
So everything that possibly could go wrong for North Carolina went wrong.
Baycott missed a dunk at one point.
Yeah.
that would have fired up the crowd and all that. You know what I mean? It's a big
Yeah.
momentum change. Alabama comes down, hits a 3 or whatever happened, and it just changes the game.
And
so
they still only lose by 2.
yeah, they're
I
still
mean,
right in the game.
But that's what it is. You can't go on a run like this unless you're really good and really lucky.
Yeah.
Other than UConn and Purdue.
NC State has been whooping ass.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
been impressive. Like they started off down like 9 points to Duke, and I was thinking, okay, Duke's better team.
Just annihilated, what's it called the round before?
Who did they beat this week? Oh, Houston. They
No. They didn't beat the shit out of Houston.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of the team before Houston.
James
My bad.
Madison.
James Madison, yeah.
NC State had just beaten Duke in the ACC tournament, so it's like they're not going to lose to him again. But DJ Burns, man, it's been a lot of fun watching him play.
He's a dog. I love seeing him play, bro.
Houston, I felt bad for with Jamal Shed getting hurt and only losing by 3. Like you got to think if he didn't get hurt, they probably would have beat Duke. And I guess that's what you're saying about getting lucky, though. If Jamal Shed stays healthy,
really
Houston probably wins, and then they probably shit on NC State. Honestly, the way they play defense and shit, we'll never know. But yeah, so. Yeah, NC State's on a crazy run, though. That's what the tournament's about, though. I like seeing shit like that. You got the 2 dominant teams, Alabama, who struggled at the end of the year, got hot, and then NC State, who never had a chance to make it, wins 5 games in a row.
The team that's lost 14 games.
Yeah.
It's the first time a team that's lost 14 games has made it to the Final Four.
Like I said, we're sitting at Longhorn, and we're watching NC State Louisville first round of the ACC tournament. You're thinking, NC State will beat Louisville, but they're not going to. Both these teams suck, and then next thing you know, NC State's still playing. That's insane.
They beat 3
Final
straight
Four.
tournament teams, win the conference, and then they make the Final Four.
But I don't know about you. I expect both Final Four games to be blowouts, unfortunately, and then
Yeah.
us to get a great championship on Monday.
I agree. Purdue and UConn are both. I think Dan Hurley's the best coach
Dude, he's awesome.
He's the best coach in college basketball, and I think in a long time. And
Dude,
I know
he's really good.
there's Jay Wright. I know who also almost won back to back, and there's these other guys. And Nate Oates is amazing, but Dan Hurley, for last year to do what he did with none of those guys were stars at the time. I mean, they kind of became stars because obviously
Well, he lost
they
their
went on
3
the
best
run.
players too.
Yeah.
He replaced them with no problem.
And they've just been dominating round by round.
30-0 run.
Everyone thought they had the hardest
yeah,
hardest
region, and they're
bracket,
just
and,
beating the shit
they
out of
got
everybody.
helped out because Auburn just totally shit the bed and stuff like that.
But even if
But
not, San Diego State is still
a good
probably could
Final
have beat
Four team
Auburn
last year. Yeah,
national championship rematch.
yeah,
That was what they just beat them by 30.
30-0 run. Like
Yeah, versus Illinois is like that's
yeah.
unreal.
And Illinois was a fucking buzzsaw. Like Illinois was just beating the shit out of people too. So I don't think there's any team. I think UConn and Purdue are by far the best 2 teams. And even though Cinderella runs are fun, at the end of the day, the best basketball is played between the best 2
Yeah, I would
teams.
like to see the Cinderella runs end now.
Yeah.
Like that would make the tournament special.
It reminds me of North Carolina Villanova 6 years back,
Oh,
or
it's
however,
great.
like whereas like the 2 best teams made it. You saw it was back and forth game winning, like what should have been game winning shots just for the other team to fucking ruin it. Like,
Yeah.
And Purdue and UConn matchup. The thing with NC State matchup, why I think it's gonna be a blowout, is because they lean way too much on Burns and
Oh, and
Zach
Edey should
Edey's-
crush him, yeah.
Burns isn't gonna be able to do those fadeaways that he's been killing people with. I love Burns because he hits you with the fadeaway, and then as soon as you're like playing in on him to like take the fadeaway out, he does the little fucking his version
footwork
of
is
the
crazy.
Hakeem shake, the dream shake.
Yeah.
And he fucking it's so much fun, and he makes all these nice passes. But at the end of the day, dude, Zach Edey. They ran into the worst possible matchup for them, who's also a great team.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with UConn. UConn's got size. Alabama, I can see the route for them to beat UConn because the center on UConn, what's his name?
Klingon.
Yeah, Klingon. Like if they can get that guy running, tire him out, maybe get
Well,
him in foul trouble.
The big thing is he only plays about 22 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So
Because
a lot
they
of
have so
people-
many guys who are good. They can rotate. Yeah.
A lot of people are saying like him versus Edey would be why UConn will win, but what people don't realize is Zach Edey plays 40 minutes when he needs to.
Dude, he had 40 points and 20 rebounds.
Yeah,
or
he
something
literally
like that.
sat for 20 seconds versus Tennessee. Klingon can't do that. Like, he physically can,
Yeah.
which most people that size can't. And that's why I actually do really like Zach Edey, is he averages, like, I think 35 minutes a game, but he'll play 40 unless he gets in foul trouble. And Klingon can't. So even if he, like, can match Edey for 20 minutes, there's going to be another half of the game that Edey will be able to dominate. Even though I'll still take UConn if they match up.
I don't know.
But I do. I mean, Purdue shoots at 41% as a team from 3, which is number 1 in the country. And then having Edey, that recipe alone can beat anybody. And I have picked Purdue all year, so I probably shouldn't change my mind on them now. But UConn just looks like next level. But we'll see. I hope Purdue wins.
UConn just has so many players that can get the job done. But I do think Purdue wins. Like So we're not going to be able to talk about this after the Final Four. Obviously, Final Four happens. 2 days later, the championship will be recording the next day. You think? I mean, I think we all in here think Purdue and
Yeah, I'll be very
UConn
surprised if it's
and the
not.
runs, or you think?
You know what? Let's,
think one of
let's
these-
have some fun, bro. Let's go NC State. Let's,
You think
let's
so?
get this shit done. I don't know if I think so, but
DJs,
I
man,
love to
DJ
see it,
Warren
bro.
and-
I just for the vibes and all the madness on Twitter and everything. I need it, bro. I need it. What do you guys think of them? Not to get away from it, but I seen there was reports that NFL teams were reaching out to him. What do you guys
Burns?
think about that? Yeah.
That's wild.
Is it bullshit or is it just?
I don't know if it's bullshit. I think people throw things at the wall and hope it works, but I think it's kind of insulting when they say this shit about people where it's like, oh, LeBron could walk in the league tomorrow and be a top 5 tight end. It's like, that's insulting, bro. Like
Yeah.
these guys have if LeBron chose that in high school, sure. But once you're losing 4 years to these guys who are training at a high level every single day of their lives for one specific sport, to be like, oh, now I'm just going to switch to the NFL and be able to succeed where a lot of these guys can't. It's insulting to kind of think that.
I can see it, but at the same time, like it's been done with like Antonio Gates and shit. Like he's.
But he played football too in college, right?
I don't know if he did. I think he was just a basketball player. I mean,
Not
I could be
sure.
wrong, but
I could have
not
swore he
sure.
played football. I
yeah,
thought he was
look
a
it up
I'll
for
look
sure.
it up,
'Cause I
though.
thought he just played basketball.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Gates.
Antonio Gates, college football.
If I'm wrong, I'm
Oh,
wrong.
look at that. He never played college
Yeah.
football.
That's nuts.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
That's
like,
wild.
Like it's
LeBron
been,
would be the best
done,
tight end in
but
the fucking league, bro.
look at you.
I thought he played both.
No,
I mean,
I feel like there's another one, bro. It's mostly the tight end position. You'll see it happen, but
But
I
the
mean,
thing is,
Mo Alley Cox, but
he's not very good.
that's what I'm saying.
He's
but,
okay.
I mean, he's still on contract. He's been
Yeah,
with
he's
the
still
same
good enough
team,
to
so it's
yeah.
like I don't know, but it's been done, but it's very rare.
I mean, shit. That kind of changes my whole tune. I never knew he just didn't play college football.
That's wild. I didn't either.
That's like, and he to be a top 5 tight end during his time. That's
maybe all time.
Yeah, I was just saying, definitely not of his time, of all time. Antonio Gates was the second best tight end of his time, was with Tony Gonzalez, right? Yeah,
yeah.
so he's definitely top 10 at the very least of
Yeah.
all time.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
wild.
But again, small sample size, so it's
Yeah.
I'm completely changing my tune. I'm LeBron though. I was within 30 seconds going from 100% one way to 100% the other. If Antonio Gates was able to do it, LeBron,
anybody could do it.
Not anybody, but the athlete that LeBron is. Like if,
for sure.
Antonio Gates could do it, if LeBron had hands, he could absolutely do it.
Or he's got to match that physicality that Antonio Gates brought too, though. The way he be
That's
flopping
true.
and shit on
Even
the
though
court.
he could
You
physically
run across the middle, fucking Brian Dawkins lays you out. That shit might change your whole life.
That is true.
Yeah, he might just want to grab the basketball after that. But we don't know. We'll never
Yeah.
know.
He could though.
Yeah,
It-
it wouldn't
physic-
surprise
yeah.
me, like for sure.
But Burns isn't that athlete. I know his footwork is crazy for how big of a guy he is. But could you see him coming off the edge, man? Like, is he that fast?
I don't know, bro, because he won't be no tight end.
He's not a tight end.
No shot.
No.
Fucking put his ass on the line, son.
That's pretty
Who's
cool.
getting by him?
Maybe he could just be like you remember, was it not Ferguson? Ferguson was a long snap. No, it was Ferguson, the tight end for the Bills. We literally just blocked, and then he would randomly like run and catch a touchdown because no one would cover him because they wouldn't expect it. I think it was Ferguson.
I don't know if it's Ferguson.
Either way, there was a tight end on the Bills who was just enormous.
It was Lee Smith?
Lee Smith was another of the same ilk.
Okay.
Same ilk. It's like you just when he's on the field, you expect him to block, and then sometimes
He'll
he
just
would
pop
he
out.
would run a route, and you would see him like catch the ball like this with his hands, like
Oh,
even though he's
yo,
wide,
all
even
taped
though
up and
he's
shit.
wide open, he doesn't even think he's gonna catch it. I could see him playing that role, just like third tight end on the team.
Fuck it.
You come in on heavy sets and block, and then like we'll fucking confuse the team and put you out for a route. I don't know. Maybe he'll make a fucking practice squad. That's still a good living for 5 years.
I'd take it.
Be cool.
Goddamn.
He's not going to the NBA though. I'll tell you that much.
No.
But it's been fun seeing him play like this because I thought if NC State was going to make a run, I thought it was going to be because of Horn. I mean,
Which
Horn,
it's been.
Horn has been playing
Yeah.
really well too, but Burns has definitely been the catalyst.
The Sweet 16 game was Horn for sure. I think Burns had like 5 points.
But they were doubling Horn every time, or Burns every time he touched the
yeah,
ball.
no, for sure. He definitely's made a huge impact. Both those guys have been great.
Yo, for me though, like just out of spite because I had Purdue win it all last year and they got bounced the first round. Fuck Purdue this year, dude. You
I
guys,
ran it
you
back
guys
on
did me
them.
dirty last year.
Yeah.
I'm going NC State, man.
Dude, I agree. So I don't even think NC State or Alabama really have a chance.
They don't have a chance to win at all, in my opinion. Like, if one of them sneak out a win, I can't see them doing it again 2 days later.
Oh,
Nah,
yeah,
I
way.
think-
I think it's just at this point it's UConn's championship to lose.
Yeah, I mean, they're just playing on another level.
That's where we disagree, man. I think Purdue's just got the perfect storm, man. I love UConn. I love Dan Hurley. As someone who roots for a team that his brother coaches, I am like, fuck, why did we not hire Dan? Because Bobby's a fucking bum.
Bobby the bum.
He's a bum. He is a bum as a coach. He was a great player. He is a bum. And it's like Dan Hurley was not a D1 player, I don't believe. And if he was, he wasn't great. And he's just out here best coach in college basketball. And normally I lean towards coaching. I think they have the coaching. I think they have better depth than Purdue. But Purdue, like you said, like having to deal with Zach Edey, who's just fucking annihilating people. Like he would have had 50 and 30 if he had to play that game against
Utah State.
Utah State.
Yeah.
Like if he had to continue playing in that game, he had like 20 rebounds at half.
Yeah.
Like, and then he goes and gets like 40 and 20 or so, 38 and 20 or whatever he got last round. And then also like if you get lucky and you're able to slow him down, you have to deal with the best 3-point shooting team in the country. Like
Yeah. No, it's tough. Purdue's really good.
I'm never gonna count UConn out because, like I said, I think Hurley's a better coach, and they do have better depth. Like they have like 8 guys who can catch fire, but fuck, man, just the drive of being I'm a 2-time player of the year now, never got it done. This is my last chance. The best player having the most motivation and having the best team for him.
Yeah.
Like the one thing I always say about LeBron is even though a lot of his teams did have little talent, most of the time it was the right kind of players for him. Guys who could fucking hit threes.
Right.
And I think it's the same thing with Purdue.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to if can Edey dominate against Klingon.
Yeah,
Because
but like
he's been unreal as well.
how do you take him off the court? Like you said, he only plays 22 minutes a
That's
game.
the thing, but like if he can get Edey into foul trouble, if he can wear Edey out on the other end, if he can hold him and force a bunch of misses and turnovers, then when he goes and sits the bench, UConn's up 17 now because Edey hasn't done enough.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know.
And UConn's going to send Castle and Newton at those shooters. They're great defenders. It's just it's going to be interesting to watch how that plays out.
I get Klingons
if it
are
happens.
great, but just I don't know, man. I think with the way Edey's playing, I just think he's unstoppable. It's like
It's looking that way. He gets,
it's
and
like
he gets
Kemba
all
Walker
the calls
the year
that he can ever
UConn
want.
won.
The amount of fouls that he draws is insane.
Yeah, even you run into like good offensive players in modern day basketball beat good defensive players almost every time. And with the motivation that Edey has right now to get it done, to like put the cap on one of the best college, but like you take that one loss away. And they had like this is one of the best runs in college basketball history. I mean,
He'll go down if he wins the tournament and
2 back-to-back player of the
he
year.
tied David Robinson for something. I forgot what the stat was, but if he passes it and wins the tournament, he'll go down as one of the greatest college basketball players of all time.
Yeah, and honestly, like even if they don't win the championship last year, but if they just win 1 or 2 games
He
last
losing
year,
to Farley Dickinson or whatever.
that's going to be
Dickerson
he.
was wild. But maybe that was the motivation he needed to come back this year
Exactly,
and average 40 and 20 throughout the whole tournament. So
That's what I'm saying. I think overall the better team is UConn, and coaching's huge in college, but the better player in basketball is huge, and Zach Edey's kind of widened that gap, man.
yeah. But Newton's first team All-American as well.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't dominate the game the same way, but if he gets hot or Caravan gets hot or Castle can get hot, but Cam Spencer, like you said, they have 7 guys who can take that game over. If Edey doesn't show up or gets into foul trouble, it's over. That's the only thing that scares me.
Who's the guard on Purdue though?
Brandon Smith?
Yeah, he
Fletcher
Lawyer
Lawyer or whatever. I mean, they're good. They are, but them dudes are going to be. I mean, Castle and Newton defending them. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I've been saying Purdue all year. I have them on a bet where I need them in the Nuggets for a little 10 racks. But UConn just. I don't know that I've seen a college basketball team since Florida, not even being biased, be able to just play next level ball.
Florida was next level.
Yeah.
They had like 4 pros.
Yeah, it's just. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll definitely see. I'll be rooting for Zach Edey. There's no doubt about that.
I will say this is one of the first years I'm 1,000% rooting against the underdog because I think it would be a robbery to not see UConn play Purdue.
Right.
I think the level of basketball that we will see in that game will be the best product that we can get. Is seeing those two teams play at I don't want Edie to have a bad day. I want everyone to have a good day.
Oh yeah, I want to see a great game, overtime. I want to see
who is the better team at the top of their
winning 3 or some shit.
Yeah. So I'm super. I'm like almost 1,000% confident that UConn and Purdue win their games, and then
Vegas scares me. That's the only thing, because a lot of people are going to be two-teamer in those money lines.
Yeah.
$1,000 on the money lines at even money or something, and Vegas is just going to come through and make some wild shit happen. I hope not.
Ben tweeted yesterday, and he was like, "I've never seen like so much sloppy play from elite level college programs," and I was like, "There's a reason."
Ever since it's been legalized, people don't want to believe it, and I get it. Nobody wants to believe that it's potentially fixed because we love this shit. But now it's coming out that this guy bets, that guy bets, and his friend bets, and come on, man. Something's going on.
About it last episode. It was like a 15-minute rant about why your money's ruining sports.
Yeah, something's going on.
And we should outlaw gambling on college basketball, which makes me mad because that's the only thing I make money on. But
Auburn's got an 88% shooter, misses the front end of a 1-and-1. 83% shooter, misses both.
The first guy was 78%.
First, there was 3 guys at the end of the game. The very first one was 87 or 88%. Then it was 83 and it was 79. No, because it was like Auburn was up.
The last guy was 83.
Yeah, and he missed both.
He missed both, yeah.
The very first guy, when Auburn was winning the game and could have added to their lead, missed the front of a 1-and-1. But then Yale has a guy at 61% putting the ball in. Like, what is there, a magnet in the basketball? He could have just shot it anywhere. That shit was going in. Like, I mean, come on. You're just 60%. You're just so clutch.
He had a good day.
Yeah, it just happens too often.
Was it Clemson? No, it was Illinois-Iowa State because I had him in the pool, so I was watching that game. Illinois beats Iowa State by 3 points. And in the last 2 minutes of that game, there was a wide-open miss on a layup, which then turned into an easy Illinois transition bucket, 4-point swing there. And then I don't remember if it was a free throw or something, but it was 2 easily made plays that Iowa State could have made and could have if they just make those 2 plays, they win because both of them were 4-point swings, and it wasn't like forced into a late shot clock shit. They literally got a turnover on Illinois, go down the court, no one fouls him, and he misses a wide open layup, and then boom. It's just.
At least in that case, Illinois was like 8 for 20 at the line as a team.
That's true. So it was it goes both ways.
You're like, okay,
game,
they're college kids. Like, it is what it is. It goes both ways. I just hate when it's like, how is this star player, like R.J. Davis, 0 for 9 from 3 with, I would say 7 of those 9 shots were wide open. 4 for 20 from the field, but these kids from Alabama are just, they're just the best players in the world. Like, it just seems so weird to me. I was even telling my buddy who's a Tar Heel fan. I was like, man, that shit felt fishy to me. Maybe not, and maybe people don't want to hear it, but it seems wild to me. Ever since betting was legalized, even more so than ever.
See, I'm less suspicious of the 0 for 9 stuff because people do get cold, especially college kid with the fucking world on his shoulders. It's more for me the crazy missed layups, the missed free throws, the the guys dribbling the ball out of bounds. Mm-hmm. I've seen more turnovers this year that were not initiated by the defense than any year I've ever watched basketball. Legit dribbling down the floor. I mean, the first round game that Colorado won, legit just dribbling down the floor and losing the ball without even being pressured by the defense and just going out of bounds. Or you're dribbling it and it's something you see in I would do because I'm not a good basketball player and I don't dribble well. We're playing in a fucking rec league at LA and I mishandle the ball. Seeing D1 kids dribble down and not get pressured by the defense and mishandle the ball into the other team's hands. Yeah. That's the type of shit where I'm because it's the shooting thing is so hard to fix. It's easy to make someone miss, but it is not easy to make someone make it. So even with RJ missing those shots, if Alabama wasn't making the shot, if Alabama stopped making the shots, Vegas still loses. Right?
But did you see?
But turnovers like that and missed free throws and stuff that are easily cleaned up, just never being cleaned up, that's when I get super suspicious.
Yeah, that's when it's extra annoying. But did you see when Michael Porter's brother got caught betting or whatever recently?
No.
There's a video.
The Raptors guy.
He bet on his under.
Wait, so that was his brother?
Yeah, it's MPJ's brother. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So yeah, I didn't know until yesterday. I did see that.
Yeah. And the kid,
Jonte Porter.
Yeah, I don't know if the shot clock's winding down or why he would even shoot. Maybe because he was wide open. He takes this 3 and he shoots a horrible 3. It hits the top of the backboard and goes in. And his face looks disgusted. And they lost the bet. They had whoever it was bet on his under. And that made him go over. But the way he shot it was you knew he wasn't trying to make it. And then it hits the backboard and goes in. And he actually looks sick about it. There's like a whole video on Twitter about it. It's fucking hilarious.
Wait, so I knew he was betting on himself. He was betting on
The
unders?
under, yeah. Because he don't get a lot of minutes,
Yeah.
don't take a lot of shots. It's an easy way to lose. But in this moment, he takes a top of the key
this is where,
three.
did he get Pete Rosed?
I don't know what's going on with him. They're
Like,
still
you can't be
investigating it.
suspended for 3 games. Like, you need to be suspended for life.
Right.
Like, and if he's not suspended for life,
And he's
then
taking
I know,
unders.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
Pete Rose was betting on the Reds to win. He was
Yeah.
doing what he was trying hard.
Yeah, but
that's
thi-
what
but
Ridley-
this guy, like, he also was like, he would like hit a certain point of the game where like, oh fuck, I'm feeling sick. Bro.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, and they take him out the game.
Yeah, he needs to be gone for life. If he's not gone for life, I'm not being
For real,
exaggerated.
the refs
No,
are
for
in
real.
on it.
If he's not gone for life, then you can never tell me that these leagues are not in line with Vegas.
Yeah.
If you do not suspend a guy betting his own unders, like that the
unreal.
integrity of every game he played in is gone.
The
Like, if he was
referee,
betting his overs, still suspend him for a very long time.
Sure.
But at least because that's still fucking the integrity of the game.
because then
You're
he might
you're
just
not
start
gonna
taking
pass.
bad shots. Yeah.
You're still gonna hurt your team. But at least it's like I'm betting that I'm gonna help my team. The fact that
Right.
you're betting that you're going to hurt your team.
Yeah.
Get him the fuck suspend his brother too by association, bro. Get the fuck out
There's,
of
so
here.
you got players like that. You got the referee special on Netflix of Donahue or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
every game might not be fixed, but obviously there's a good amount that are, or they're. It's not that they're just completely fixed, but they're just altering. We're gonna call some carries on Iverson tonight. He said because they wanted the Nuggets to lose. So they said when Iverson does his little carry, because we don't ever call it, but tonight we will. And Iverson ended up getting technicals because he got pissed off, and the Nuggets lost 99-91 or something. Still look good. Just a couple things that they change, and that influences if you're going to win your bet.
It could, yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to happen. He was still losing bets as well because, me and you could be the refs and try to. UConn's whooping people's ass right now.
Yeah, there's
Us
no
three
way,
can
yeah.
be the refs, and we can do everything in our power. They're winning these games.
Yeah.
But you're still altering the game. It sucks.
Or
but it's
at least
happening.
attempting to.
Yeah, you're trying your best to. Like, that dude still hit the off the backboard 3 and
He's
lost his
off.
own under like a
Wow.
fucking idiot. But
Okay,
he
God.
still tried. Not for people who had his over weren't getting a full. They won their bet on some luck, but he wasn't even trying. You don't know that.
And the thing is too, like his over unders are like a draft. The reason why
They're like
they
8.5
the reason
and
why
shit,
they
right?
found out was like, okay, there's only a certain percentage of people from this area betting on this dude. No one even know who the fuck he is. He barely gets any minutes. His over under set at like 7.5.
Yeah.
He's like the guy in the NFL. The over under is 1 catch.
But why are
Really?
people pounding millions on it or thousands
Exactly.
on it?
It was the
They're
amount.
idiots.
It was the amount that was spent on. They're like, okay, this is a little fishy, bro.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but I did look into it, and that's the reason for professional sports I bet player props. I very rarely bet money lines or anything like that because like 60 or 70% of all money that Vegas gets is like games, like spreads, money lines, over-unders,
I'm a spread guy.
and then the like a really smaller number is player props, and then obviously a big portion of the player props are on big guys because that's just the
Nobody wants
nature.
to bet this Porter kid who plays 10 minutes.
So like it was probably such a red flag where it's like, who the fuck is betting $1 million
100%.
on Jonte Porter? He's so little known that we didn't even know his brother is.
Yeah, I didn't
a
know until I saw it on
famous
Twitter, and he was saying how
player
much his
who just
brother
won a
loves the game. And
championship
shit.
last
The
year.
books were like, we didn't even know how we got on the book.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I hate that we have to have this conversation at all.
And I've always thought sports was somewhat rigged my whole life. But now, to me, with the legalized betting, it's just kind of wild.
I can definitely see, like, especially scenarios like that. But at the same time, I also feel like we sort of give those guys like too much credit. Like, there's no way, like, I'm trying to think of a perfect example that kind of aligns with what I'm talking about. But like, they do things like everything is so well known now that, like, especially with the social media age, we'll be able to find shit out.
And we are now, though.
Right.
We've never had
No,
it
in ways
before.
like that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I'm sure there's scenarios where it's actually happening, but there's also other scenarios where we give them way too much credit, and it's like they're thinking like, oh shit, this is what they really think of us, and we're not even really doing this shit.
Yeah.
The only reason, so I, growing up, was like very adamantly like sports are, especially professional sports, are way too hard to fix. I've always known like referees do influence, and then when the Donahue stuff came out, I wasn't really surprised from that manner. I think it's very hard to fix on the player end because, like I said last week, these guys have so much to lose. But I'm thinking because, okay, you saw Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame, probably lost out on a lot of money, and these players get paid way more now, so they even have more to lose. Like, if Josh Allen gets kicked out of the NFL, he loses a lot more than Pete Rose lost. Like, he's losing hundreds of millions of dollars. So he's like, how Vegas, you don't have enough money to give to me to win your bet, like, because you're never gonna make me risk hundreds of millions of dollars.
You think it's easy?
Huh?
A lot of these guys probably just think it's easy. That dude probably was like, "Oh, I suck. I'm gonna score 6 or 7 points tonight, and me and my boys."
But
are
he was doing it for himself, though. It wasn't like Vegas came. Well,
and it's not like
I
the
don't
other
know,
thing too, bro. Is they're not rehearsing this. I think a lot of people think when I say it's rigged that what do you think they get together like WWE? No, I think it's a couple people who are in on it that you don't know. It's not like the entire Bills locker room's going to talk about it.
That's a perfect example, and that's sort of aligning with what I was trying to say. It's like the premeditated stuff. Like everyone in the league is in on it. I think people give them way too much credit for that.
Yeah.
Like the whole script thing, like you're giving them way too much credit. Like I'm sure there's some referees like, okay, maybe we can sneak in a little bit here and there, but like there's no way everything like Chiefs going to the Super Bowl and shit. Like it's meant that the logo and
so if any,
it's way too much. It's way too much.
That shit's ridiculous as well.
The only thing professionally wise I do think is like influenced, and it's not completely fixed, but like I do think that the NFL had a lot of reason to want Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl, and it's like it's not very surprising that the Chiefs made it.
And then it's a good team to do it because it's the Chiefs who are really good.
And like when Tom Brady was like the darling of the league, and like we know they do it for MJ and LeBron, like we know it. Like there's no like their fans will try to argue against it, but it's just. If you're unbiased, you know it.
Dude, you see
they influence the games in the Stars' direction. We know that. I mean, they've been admitting it on TV for years. Like that you have to be a star to get that call.
They say people don't come here to see Michael Jordan travels. They told Donahue when he was young, don't call that again.
And even to this day, LeBron is like the Lakers have like a 700 foul or free throw differential or something. Like the Knicks are number 2 and they're like 700 behind the Lakers.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned this.
So like we know that, but like it's
and
more,
that shit I don't even care about. Really.
It's more for ratings. They're not. Yeah. At the end of the day, it does influence these games a lot, but that's just what you got to do. At least those guys earned it by being who they are. But at the end of the day, it's like so much of the money. Like I said, not a lot of money is on props. So you're not the Vegas isn't getting a ton by getting these guys to go under on their props and stuff. They are worried about money lines and stuff, and at that point, it's like these players have so much more to lose. Like even if you don't get caught, if I lose more games than I win, I'm talking about less money in my contract next year and stuff like that. So I don't really see the incentive for professional players to do it. But college level players,
that's a whole nother story, bro. Yeah.
I know I get like betting on yourself.
Yeah.
Like that guy, and it did impact the integrity game and he should be gone forever. But that's an isolated incident and he's betting on himself. It's like Vegas didn't come to him and say bet on your own unders because they're not even getting enough money on him. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think on both ends of the spectrum, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Vegas doesn't need to fix things to make money. They have.
I don't think it's necessarily Vegas.
But who else would influence these people?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. It's tough because even when I look at like the Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl, the Falcons literally could have kneeled the ball and like ran the clock down to 1 and just kept doing that. There was probably no way the Patriots could have come back.
They couldn't have done that because each drive would have been like a minute and a half. It would have been the same thing that they ended up doing.
Yeah, I mean,
they needed to run the ball more, and they needed to do more.
Yeah, maybe not kneel the clock, but maybe just run the ball more. Like they were doing shit that like you're watching it happen in front of your eyes, and you can't believe it. You're like, wow, the Patriots have a chance to come. Like they're gonna do it. Like it started to get to the point where like they're going to win this game because the Falcons, who were up 28-3, could do anything they wanted. All of a sudden, couldn't sustain a drive.
But what would Vegas? Why would Vegas want to?
That's what,
because if you say you took the Falcons money line after they got a lead, you're not really winning anything.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just funny to me that Tom Brady is the guy behind a 28-3 comeback, which isn't really real outside of movies.
Yeah, that would be more the NFL.
It's so ridiculous, some of the shit that we see.
They literally made a movie about it.
Yeah, it's like why like Tom Brady's just came back from down 28-3. Of course he did. Russell Wilson throws an interception because we don't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Of course, that's what happened for Brady to win the Super Bowl. Like, shit to me has always just been funny, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but like,
it could be a lot of coincidences, but
in that aspect, it's like what Tank said. You have to give the NFL so much credit if they're the ones fixing it because you need Pete Carroll to be involved. And Pete Carroll is gaining so much more by winning that Super Bowl than he does.
No, I definitely agree. I don't know what it is or why it happens that way, but it just seems so crazy to me.
And then even with the interception, like they made a ridiculous play. Like Russ got out of a sack on that play, threw the ball downfield. He doesn't catch the ball, bounces in the air.
Maybe he wasn't supposed to catch that though.
Huh?
Maybe that was supposed to end the game right there.
Maybe.
Russ made a couple guys made a hell of a play, and they're like, all right, well, get the next script. Don't run the ball to Marshawn. I don't fucking know, man. But it is crazy. Like, that play happened, and Vegas probably like, holy fuck, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, maybe.
Call it in. Throw the ball. Don't give it to Marshawn.
I don't know. I think gambling in professional sports is more isolated incidents like we've seen. But I do think college sports legit. I'm not saying that it's happening, but I'm saying there are
guys who know they're not going pro.
Yeah,
they can gain 10, 20,000. Even that little of amount of money is huge for them.
They're ripe to get paid. They're like in a bad situation, not a bad situation, but you get what I'm saying. They're not in like they don't have a lot to lose. If they get caught, you're not. What are you gonna do to me?
Yeah,
you're gonna say I can't ever play basketball again. Guess what? I can anyway.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, like so they don't have anything to lose. They don't have money unless they're top-notch guys. That it's too ripe for problems. Whether it's actually happening or we're just seeing it happen because we're sports gamblers and we're making things up in our mind. The fact that it could easily be done means that it needs to be stricter. We shouldn't be letting props be bet on players, and we should not. Vegas should just be so far away from it. Vegas should not have professional sports teams. I'm sorry. We as a nation accepted that for 100 years. And now gambling, right before gambling becomes legalized, they have a sports team in every sport. Like baseball will be there soon.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. I don't know, man. We'll never know, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. There needs to be – I'm not going to rant about it again because that's what I did last week. But there just needs to be way more walls to potential problems. There needs to be way more security around it.
All the money that's made in sports is from gambling, though. Like, the reason you see the seats are filled up and we're buying sports packages and shit, like, it's not just loyal fans. It's people that are just, they love gambling. They love being around that shit. Without that, sports might not be what it is, so we'll probably never see a world
Gambling wasn't legal before an NFL was.
It wasn't legal, but
it was still happening.
It was happening. Like, Vegas was still making bread. Like, I don't know, man. I get what you're saying, but like, I think it's gotten worse now, though. Since it's been legalized, so it kind of makes sense to what I'm saying. Like, it's always been there, but now it's just kind of like in your face. Like, they're not even hiding anymore. It's WWE. When I watch Monday Night Football, Vince McMahon should just come out and be like, it's Monday Night Raw. That's what it is to me. What dumb shit's going to happen tonight on Monday Night Football? Like, it's just some wild shit happens, especially on the primetime games. More so than when, like, I bet if we looked at some of these guys, what they do at 1 o'clock, I bet you a lot of the favorites or the bigger teams cover when there's 10 games on compared to when it's like the Bills versus Broncos. Oh, Denver won. I bet you if that game was at 1 o'clock, the Bills would have won fucking 43-10. But it was Monday Night Football. Vince McMahon was there chilling.
I don't know. Bills still lost in New England on a
That's
a division game though. The way the Bills lost to Denver was ridiculous.
Yeah, at least the Bills lost because New England played well. Like, Mac Jones was actually out here. But that Denver game was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was ass in that game. Like, Aaron and them are like, oh, he beat the Chiefs, he beat the Bills. He was ass in that game, and we just kept giving him the ball. And like,
you missed a field goal? Don't worry, there's somebody else on the field.
Hamlin's on the field.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean,
my two things, just to kind of wrap it up, put a bow on it. Like, my two things. We shouldn't be able to bet player props for college players. Maybe not even college sports at all.
Which we can, at least.
New York.
Yeah.
Exactly. But overall, there's still some states that can do
most of them can. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
100%.
So, secondly, just keep the pro athletes away from it, bro.
Yeah, if you're a pro athlete, they need to make a example out of these dudes. Like 8 weeks for Calvin Ridley. I know he was betting on himself, or other. I don't know what
it was his team. Yeah.
Yeah, and
then he goes to the Titans, who are plus 18. He was plus 1,800 to go to the Titans. It's fucking
I
funny
see
to
some
me.
jokes about that, bro.
Come on, man. You got 92 million or whatever, and you were plus 1,800. That's wild. Why'd you go to the Titans? That shit don't even make no fucking sense, bro.
He even
Fuck
said
outta
himself at the presser. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't want to. I wanted to go back to Jacksonville."
He should have said, you know what would have been awesome if he was on the press. He's like, I didn't want to come to Tennessee, but they had me at plus 1,800.
And I definitely didn't put no money on that.
Yeah, like, fuck, man. I don't know. This shit's crazy. But,
Man,
I mean, I love it.
they
I'll
need
always
it.
watch it. I'll always love sports. It is what it is.
But the thing is there's the government. The government has the ability to punish anyone. Like we've seen it. Like we see it. We see people. You can make the government can be like, listen, we legalize gambling because this is America and we shouldn't be able to tell people what they can and can't do. But
To an extent.
if you are caught, like if the NFL and FanDuel are caught in cahoots doing something, FanDuel ceases to exist. Like you're done.
Yeah, we
You
should
lose
all
your
get
life. Like
refunded
if you're
our,
if you're a doctor and you get caught like being like you're killing people on purpose because you're there and it's like, oh, they just died in surgery, I can get away with it. You go to fucking prison and you lose, or if that's just obviously murder's illegal. That's not a good analogy.
I get what you're
So
saying.
you
though.
do dangerous practices.
it,
You
yeah.
lose your license, you can never be a doctor again. Why is it not the same for gambling?
We should all get refunded our win-loss, too.
Yeah, if you get caught, you have to pay out billions. And you're gonna.
Yeah.
If the government did that, then Vegas would probably be like, let's just take our smaller winnings. Like they're not gonna. If they're like, if we get caught and we lose a piece of paper that allows us to make billions of dollars a year, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd be like, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. They're gonna win anyway. Vegas is gonna win anyway. If they're fixing things, it's just to make a little bit more. Because they do have the algorithms, they have all the data in front of you. That's why people who actually research it can win up to 60 to 70% of the bets. Because if you have the data, it is easier to win. That's why baseball is the easiest sport to bet on, because there's so much more data available.
Baseball is the one sport I haven't ever bet on and felt like it was fixed. I
'Cause
feel
you
like
can't.
baseball plays the way it's supposed to be. And I could just be not seeing certain things, but I feel like the right pitchers come in when they're supposed to come in. The managers aren't like, oh, I could bring in Garrett Cole, but I'm going to bring in this fucking rookie. And
It would be so obvious in baseball.
yeah,
Like if
and
a
I feel
pitcher
like
was trying to
baseball's
fix,
the best shit to bet on.
oh, you have the best control in the MLB and you just keep throwing the ball down the middle. Like
Yeah.
you would notice it immediately.
Yeah.
But the thing is Vegas has more of that data. They have more of the resources and they have algorithms. They're always going to win and against the general public.
I agree.
So all you would have to do is be like, listen, man, we catch you doing anything like this, you lose your license. Boom. Take away any incentive they have. Because the reason corporations, and this is just as in sports, the reason they do what they do is because they can make money for so long before they get caught that when they do get caught and they just pay the fine,
Yeah, they do
they made
something
more
else.
money in
Yeah.
the end. If you said you cannot continue to do business once you do these things, they wouldn't do it. Because you're not going to risk billions of dollars to make another billion. You're just not going to do it. But we don't do that. And that's what makes me think it's kind of fixed, because we don't put any of these rules in place. You're a gambling site, you can have a partnership with a professional sports league, or you can bet on these college kids. There's just
Dude, they're giving you Charles Barkley same game parlay and shit on TNT
Yeah.
nowadays. Like, it's come a long way.
yeah, so that's the reason people, whether it's true or not, the reason in journalism, one of the first things they teach you is perspective means just as much as facts. Whether it shouldn't be that way, but perspective means everything. The perspective is you guys you guys are putting in no safeguards to stop this from happening. So of course a good amount of people are going to think it happens, and whether it's happening or not, that's going to kind of ruin your product. If people think that your product is fake, it's going to kind of ruin it. And I think it's very easy to fix. Just you get caught cheating, you're done.
Yeah.
You get caught betting, you're done. You're out. Pete Rose, you're gone. Like next time, I don't care if you're gambling on. It's very known now. We let a couple guys get away with it and come back, but it's very well known now. You get caught doing anything like that, you will never play a game in your entire life. We're gonna call the European leagues and we're gonna say, don't fucking pay this guy like that. Like we have the influence to do it.
Yeah.
The government. You get caught cheating if you're FanDuel, if you're Vegas, if you're DraftKings, we will take your license. You will never operate in our shores ever again. Boom, it's done. Never would worry about it ever again.
You should give him a call.
No, they're. But anyway,
Those are just my two.
yeah.
No college player props. No professional athletes betting it. Leave it to us broke motherfuckers.
Yeah. You guys don't need to bet if you have if you want to be a degenerate like us in your own rich way. Just go play blackjack and shit. You don't need to bet on it. Or I guess I wouldn't mind if Patrick Mahomes was betting on a baseball game or something. But even then, they have a big influence in how
you can
shit
text
happens.
these
Yeah,
guys.
so
And
yeah, you're right. They
Exactly.
just shouldn't
So
be
just,
involved.
Yeah, just keep them away from it.
You have everything, bro. You don't need sports.
You could
don't
literally
need
get
sports
incentives
gambling.
from advertisements, your partnerships, your game itself. It's just like you don't need it. Bro.
Let us have some fun.
Let me have.
You got everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not the case, but I just wouldn't be a lick surprised if like there was some huge expose in the next 2 or 3 years, and like we have another Black Sox scandal. Like, but we'll see. On that negative note,
Nah, make it positive, man. Switch it up a little bit.
say something positive, Harry.
March Madness Final Four Saturday.
Yeah.
Championship Monday. Solar eclipse.
Don't look into it.
Don't look into it, or you won't see Edie and them going at it.
Actually, I want to talk about this. This is gonna be crazy. Like Buffalo, Niagara Falls. People are just like, people are just thinking about like that hour, right? But think about the fact that it's also the national championship. You're going to have a ton of people. I'm sure a ton of them are sports fans. And even people who aren't sports fans. Even people who aren't sports fans will watch like championships games.
The casino's hosting some shit, so you know they're going to have bad people there gambling after.
Dude, I don't think people are. I know people are.
Western New York is going to be good.
It's going to be wild.
I don't, but like so many places aren't open. Like I know a lot of people. Like I work in Buffalo in the Buffalo bar scene. Like people I talk to that aren't open on Mondays aren't opening up. So there's not going to be a lot of places to go. So the places that are open are going to get slammed. Because if you're a fucking dad and you're coming with your family, you don't want to watch the game in your Hilton room. Right? Like, you want to go to a bar, and there's going to be so many
It's going to be
people.
a shit show. I won't be leaving the house.
Yeah, dude.
Be safe out there.
People are going to run out. They're going to run out of food and shit. Like, these bars don't have enough.
I think Wegmans is closed. Some Wegmans locations are closing. So, like, you can't go get your you better stock up now.
Yeah,
they're probably doing that so the rest of the city can eat for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's going to be
wild.
It's going to be crazy. Like, down Niagara Falls at the park, going to be nuts. And that, obviously, is going to be crazy, all that shit. I'm just talking about the aftermath that I don't think people are thinking enough about.
Yeah, that's a good
like,
point.
Going to
because
restaurants.
they gotta go back to their
they're not going to just disappear. Like
Right. They're not just going to go back home.
The fact that it's happening on the day of, like, one of the top 5 probably sporting events in America is, like,
I didn't think of
set
that.
up.
Especially
the moon and shit is set up.
Especially the night of Tank Talk, too, bro. What are we going to do?
You have to do a home show.
Fuck.
Well, it's done at 4:30.
But what you're saying is...
but what you're alluding to, like, the aftermath. Like, can I even drive here, bro?
No. Oh, yeah, you're coming from Cheektowaga.
I must be calling in.
Yeah, you might just have to record on Tuesday after us, dude. Or before us or whatever.
I work at the mall that day, too. Goddamn.
You work at the mall the day of the eclipse?
I'm opening, yeah.
Oh, you're going to get
It's like 9 to 4, yeah.
Oh, wow. You're going to miss the eclipse, dude. You're going to get fucked and miss the eclipse.
You're going to watch that shit?
Yeah. I'm gonna
Put your glasses on, Josh.
Say goodbye to your sight, man.
What do you mean say goodbye? I'm not going to look
You can't look into it, bro.
You come with the glasses.
Yeah, then you don't even know. They said when something happens, you won't even know for a while.
What do you mean?
Like, if you
I'll know if I go blind.
Now, say you look into it or whatever, right? And then, like, I don't know, say it's like a couple of weeks or a couple of years. You're like, oh, I'm good. And then you'll just be blind one day.
That's dumb as fuck. There's no way.
Can you do it so we know?
I'm not a fucking scientist, but, like, why would it take 3 years?
It might only take a couple of days. You might
Why?
go home, be up
like, bro, it's not like the whole point is,
oh my god, can't see.
It would be crazy, bro.
There's no way.
You're gonna be on the.
It's gonna happen
on the pod.
immediately.
Yeah, can you be?
It'll happen immediately.
It has to.
Be the guinea pig.
I'm looking
bro.
into this.
Be the guinea pig.
Well, it's the
please.
point of the glasses. That's the point of the glasses.
Well, the glasses are supposed to be. You're supposed to be good with the glasses. I'm talking about for the people who like don't.
I think
use
it's just
glasses.
to make an extra $1. To be honest.
Yeah, you're probably fucked either way.
See, I'm making a profit.
Yeah, we're gonna make a profit before you go blind.
Where did you see this?
See, that's what I mean. I'm that type of dude. I'm scared as shit. I'll be right in the house with my dog. Me and my dog ain't even going outside.
Yeah, think of like the gold rush, bro. You know how many people made money off of just selling shovels and actually finding the gold?
Yeah, for real.
No, bro, it happens immediately.
Not for real. I heard some shit, man.
You just wake up and you can't see.
that should be crazy.
I should have looked at that eclipse.
So when you
10
look,
years
it happens
ago.
immediately.
How long it takes for damage to occur depends on several factors such as dilation of the pupil and the sun's intensity on that specific day. Some symptoms of solar retinopathy
Yeah.
include blurry vision, dark or yellow spots, and loss of vision in the center of the eye. While recovery does occur for some people, it is possible to experience permanent visual acuity.
Oh, you'll be good. You'll get it back. You got a shot,
Bro, I'm gonna have glasses.
It's all a scheme, bro. Or
they're lying to you, dude.
you're paying a couple $2 for the glasses, and then you got to go get the medicine to get your vision back. You're about to make a killing off these people. The glasses don't work.
I might have an idea, bro. You know what I mean?
You got to go to the doctors, take a bunch of eye drops.
It's all connected, bro.
It's all connected, man. It's all the whole world's set up.
We didn't even talk about women's. Caitlin Clark smacking shit.
Yeah, she's hurt, man.
And then they're gonna play.
People want it so badly. I seen Ben saying it too. They want Angel Reese to be the best and Juju to be the best. It's like Caitlin Clark's the best. It is. It's just that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. Maybe Juju can get to that point.
Yeah, she's just a freshman.
But it's like this lady has scored more points than anybody in the history of the college sports of the game, and then put up 41 and 11 to redeem herself against the team that did all the bullshit to her last year.
Yeah, she's got the killer instinct too.
Yeah, it's just like, come on.
It was the highest bet. I got a notification while you guys
best.
were going. It was the highest bet women's game ever.
Yeah, it has to. That's been good for the sport. Even the other game, I know people probably didn't care about as much, but Juju and Paige. That was
Jaden Suggs.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's crazy.
They would bust whoever's ass 2-on-2.
It's because they're the same age, even though
That's
Paige
fire.
is still in college. Jaden Suggs been in the NBA for like 3 years.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a good one as well. But we'll see. South Carolina's winning it all.
Yeah, they're too good.
We gonna catch a fever game next year?
We have to.
Take a little drive down there.
Fever versus New York.
That'd be fire.
Ionescu versus Clark.
That'd
I'm
be
in,
sick.
bro. Just say the word.
That would be
Y'all would love Indy. I promise you.
I've never been.
It's good. It's a good spot.
I've driven through. I've never been. All right. Well, more positive note than I thought we were ending on there. Thank you so much for listening to the TrapNerd Sports Podcast.
Let's eat. Oh.
Go check out the Tank Talk podcast. All platforms.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tank.
Thank you, Tank, for producing, coming on.
Of course.
Thank
Anytime.
Oliver for his dick being better and letting Harry come on the show. And we're out of here. Thank you guys so much. TrapNerd Sports. Peace.
Later.